What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Day streams. It's 12:55, so the line should be kicking off in just a couple of minutes. But what's going on, everybody? How we doing today? We got obviously some Lions football. One second, if I can get the injury report up. Detroit Lions injury report. I haven't seen the inactives for today, but I guess inactives would probably be better. Actives. Let's see. I saw Ragnow and Collins, which sucks. I hope we lose, but we might. This might be Staff's last game, and I want him to win. So, I mean, I think it's a win-win situation. Either we end the year on a good note and Stafford ends his season and maybe his Lions career with a win, or we lose and we get better draft position and we cross our fingers that, maybe Stafford can stay for one more year. Maybe the new coaching staff doesn't, hate Matthew Stafford. So the full list of Lions inactives. Let's see right here. We got Kenny Bobby Price, who we just signed off the practice squad. Jamie Collins, Logan Stenberg, Albert Huggins, Tyrell Crosby, and Joe Dahl. So, I mean, that's kind of what we've been dealing with all season. I mean, Jamie Collins missed last game. Kenny Galladay's missed a majority of the season. Bobby Price, I'm surprised. We just pulled him up, or we just signed him, in fact, from the practice squad. So he's a full-time active member of the roster. So I'm surprised that he is on injured reserve. I'm surprised that he's not playing today. Stenberg sucks. I was hoping to maybe see Stenberg play in a game, but whatever. It kind of sucks on that one. What's up? I was hoping, yeah, me too. One Pride Nation. I was really hoping to see Stenberg play at least one game, but I guess we'll have to wait till next year's preseason if he ends up making the team next year, I guess. But are you rooting for a win or a loss? I mean, to me, I kind of agree with what you said earlier, Darren. Like, or if you're talking to One Pride Nation, that's fine, but I'll give my opinion on it too. I mean, I kind of agree with what you said though. Like, I kind of want us to lose for the better draft position. Like, I don't like tanking per se. I don't like the term tanking, but one game where it's the difference between maybe the number 3 pick and the number 12 pick, I'm gonna pick the number 3 pick every time. But again, if it's Stafford's last game, I'm gonna be rooting for Stafford to win. I'm gonna be rooting for this Lions team to walk out with a good way to end the season after kind of a rough year. But I think overall, if I had to pick right now, I'd pick a loss. Why was Galladay not put on IR? I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe they were expecting Galladay to come back. I mean, when he tweaked his hip, it didn't look that severe. I mean, he's been practicing a decent amount. Like, it's just a weird situation. I don't know why Galladay wasn't put on injured reserve. I don't know what they're doing with that. But yeah, that was a weird situation for sure. I swear if we draft Justin Fields, I'll be so mad. The Ohio State system. I mean, Justin Fields is a good quarterback, though. I mean, you obviously just saw him throw 6 touchdowns versus Clemson with probably some broken ribs. But, I mean, that was impressive. I mean, his college football semifinal performance was impressive. I can't deny that. I mean, he showed toughness. He read the defense very well. Something I noticed in that game is he was reading the defense incredibly well. He was going through progressions very, very quickly, which I like to see. Obviously, had a couple real nice throws in that game, but I mean, I don't think he'll fall to us anyway. But I think if he's there, especially if he's there at like 7, or if we sit at like 6 or 7, if he's there, that would be fantastic. I mean, I would take Justin Fields. I think he's just such a talented guy. I get the Ohio State system hasn't worked in a while, but it's I think Justin Fields is very talented, and I think he is going to work very hard to be successful in the NFL. Our 4th-round pick didn't play all season, and he wasn't injured. I don't know what was up with Logan Stenberg. I don't know what was going on with him. I don't know if maybe they're just waiting to see some progression. I don't know if he's having a lot of trouble in practices as far as the whole penalty thing, if he's holding a lot, but it's a weird situation with Logan. I think our coaching staff very much mishandled that one. And by the way, I think the Jets will take Fields. Yeah, I don't think Fields falls to the Lions, but if he does, I would not be upset. If he has a good natty game, then if he has a good game in the natty, well, then I might want him. Yeah, I mean, Justin Fields hasn't. I think he's shown a lot of progression last night. Was it last night? Yeah, 2 nights ago, Friday, whatever it was. But I think he had a very good game versus a very good Clemson defense. And if he can dot up Alabama, I don't think there's a question whether he's NFL ready or not. But excuse me fixing my hair. It just doesn't want to work today. But yeah, I think Justin Fields is a great quarterback, and I would not be upset at all if we were to pick him up. Like I wouldn't mind. Yeah, well, I mean, people are always saying we need a backup to Matt Stafford. We need the successor, and Justin Fields is going to be a good NFL quarterback. I feel. I think he has good arm strength, good accuracy. I think his decision making needs a little bit of work. I think he plays hero ball a little bit too much. Especially when it's not needed, like in the Indiana game. But I don't think he's a particularly bad quarterback. I mean, he has 6 interceptions, 7 interceptions in his whole career. Like one of those was a miscommunication in the semifinal last year. One of those was Friday when the ball got tipped. I mean, the one against Northwestern, there was a miscommunication. Like he hasn't thrown that many poor passes. There's been a couple for sure, but to me, he's a very efficient quarterback, and that's all I could ask for. Could this be Stafford's last game? It very well could be One Pride Nation. This, I think, has the potential. It depends who we bring in at head coach for sure. But I mean, if we bring in a guy that wants his quarterback, if we bring in, say, Eric Bieniemy, who we are interviewing sometime this week, and Eric Bieniemy wants his own Patrick Mahomes, he wants his own quarterback to come in and run his system. I think we could definitely see Stafford's last game today being in Detroit, and that could be why he's playing today. That could be the reason he's playing is because he feels there is a chance that he's not here next week or that he's not here next year. There's always that chance that he's not going to play another game. He's not going to be a Detroit Lion for much longer. So, everybody's like, oh, it's stupid that he's playing. But if he's not going to be here next year, he wants to play as much as he can with his teammates and with the organization that drafted him and paid him and gave him all of the success that he's accomplished so far. So, I mean, I think it's a very real possibility. I don't think it's the case. I do think Stafford will be back next year. I think, he's playing at when he is healthy, when he is playing, I think he's playing at a top 12, arguably a top 10 level. I think he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Some people disagree, but it's just I think it's the situation we sit in. He's older. He struggled with injuries the past couple of seasons. I think he could still be very good. Aaron Rodgers struggled with injuries for a couple of seasons, but and we all see how good Aaron Rodgers is this year. So I think it's a possibility, but I can't really say one way or the other until I know who our next head coach is going to be. Lions just kicked off out of the back of the end zone. Not a bad start. Darren Moon says, I hope not. I would be so sad to see my quarterback my whole life. I'm almost 13, bro. I know. Stafford's been the quarterback my whole life too. I mean, obviously not my whole life, but ever since I watched the Lions, Stafford's been the quarterback there. Stafford's been my quarterback. Excuse my dog for power sighing and being a goof. But yeah, Stafford's been my quarterback the whole time. I've never seen a game. I've seen a game without Stafford, but I've never seen a team without Matt Stafford as the quarterback that are my Detroit Lions. Kirk Cousins just fell over and still completed the pass. That's not funny. But yeah, I love Matthew Stafford. I think Matt Stafford's my favorite player that I've ever watched. It would be stupid to let Stafford go. I think it would be stupid to let Stafford go just to let him go. Like I think and I've had this conversation with a lot of people, especially Dr. Detroit, who I don't believe is in the room tonight. I don't believe he's here right now, but he'll likely check in because he usually comes in and pesters me about Matt Stafford. But I think I've gone over it with him several times. That's a penalty on Danny Shelton, who's back, which is nice to see. But I don't think drafting the successor is a bad idea for Matt Stafford, but I think getting rid of a quarterback that's playing at a top 10 level just to get rid of a quarterback that's playing at a top 10 level just because you don't want him doesn't make sense to me. I think it would be a very stupid decision. I think at the very least, you at least let him finish out his contract. Unless obviously you can get like a major haul for him or something. Like if you can get a first and a player or something, or if you can get a real high or a couple of high picks, then maybe you consider it. But if you were going to just get rid of Matt Stafford for a second round pick just to throw a Cousins was drinking last night. I don't know, man. Maybe the field's just a little slippery. But like, I don't think you get rid of Matt Stafford just to get rid of Matt Stafford. If you have a good reason, if you have a good quarterback behind him that you feel confident you can win with, and you can get Stafford's contracts off the book, I get that. But I don't think drafting a quarterback at number 7 just for the sake of picking a quarterback, especially when the value isn't there, I don't think that makes the most sense. We need defensive line monster in the draft. Yeah, I think that or a nice linebacker. I mean, I know defensive line wins. I mean, I know defensive line is where everything starts. Oh, geez. Um, I know defensive line is where everything starts, and I would not mind a big defensive lineman. I think Gregory Rousseau is a fantastic prospect, and he might be one of the first ones once this game finishes and once our season ends. I get into more drafting stuff. I'm gonna get into prospect, evaluations and breakdowns and all that. But I think Gregory Rousseau could be a big name to look at for the Lions, especially if we get Robert Saleh, because the 49ers always draft, I mean, especially under him in the first round, they always drafted defensive linemen. They built up that defensive line. They had a ferocious pass rush when they were healthy. So I think, especially if we get Robert Saleh, we could. Wow, there's a lot of bats in this game already. This Lions team is playing, especially on the line. But yeah, Tony, I think Gregory Rousseau could be a big name to look at for the Lions because he's a super talented defensive lineman. I want to say he had 15 sacks 2 years ago. He opted out this year to train for the draft, and I think that could help him a ton. I think he has the potential to be an absolute monster in the NFL. I think he could be Chase Young, Myles Garrett esque. I think he has all that ability. So, especially if we sit in a high draft pick and we have a position to draft Gregory Rousseau, I think that would be a very nice pickup for this Lions team. But again, I think there's a lot of real good players. I like Micah Parsons a ton. I like who else is up there? I like Dylan Moses a lot. I like there's a lot of good defensive players, but I think Gregory Rousseau is up there, especially if Micah Parsons is off the board. I think you could definitely see the Lions go big edge rusher, guy that has all the upside in the world, guy that got 15 sacks based off just pure athleticism, pretty much. Like he's real good. That's all I got. I mean, he is very, very good. And I'm really hoping the Lions can pass for at least like 208 yards. I really want to see Stafford hit that 4,000 mark again. It's been a couple years. It's been unfortunate, but I really want to see it. All right, DeAndre, first snap. Not bad. Not bad at all. I should turn on the sound so y'all could at least hear the video. The 11th ranked passing offense. Look at my man, Frank Ragnow in the Pro Bowl. He's not playing. Oh, Frank Ragnow is playing. Why is Frank Ragnow playing? Somebody explain that to me. Why on earth is Frank Ragnow playing? Unless he's fully healthy, but I thought he was still missing practices. I thought he was still out a little bit. Make him miss, DeAndre. Dang it. It's a good open field tackle. That's the guy, number 50 for Minnesota, I think we could look at in free agency as well. I'm excited for this offseason. I think as much as I love doing, in-season stuff, talking about the games and all that, I'm really excited to go into draft prospects. I'm really excited to look at potential coaches and coordinators. I'm super excited for free agencies. It'll be a very fun offseason, and I'm really, really excited for it. And hopefully, we can get a little bit of excitement back because I feel like it's been a little dull recently. I feel like it's been a little repetitive. Oh, no. Oh, that was not a good throw by Matt Stafford. Who's a beast? Frank? My man Frank Ragnow is a beast. I agree. Hopefully, I think he's healthy. Yeah, I don't think they'd put him in there if he wasn't. What was Stafford looking at? I guess Amendola, but man, Anthony Harris was sitting right there on it. That was not good. Good thing he dropped it, but that was not a good throw at all. Whew. We need to do it how Washington did. Just draft defensive linemen. It makes the rest of your team look good. And with our offense, I think we can do pretty good. I agree, Tony. I think it all starts at the defensive line, right? Because if your defensive line can't get pressure, if it can't get sacks, if it can't, get penetration and stop the run, you're going to have a hard time in the second level. You're going to have a hard time in the third level. And we've seen that in Detroit. I think we have a talented secondary. I think we have even decent talent in the linebacking core, but our front seven isn't super talented. I mean, I like Romeo Okwara, but if he's your best pass rusher, that's not very good. You know, I like Trey Flowers a bit, but I don't think he's an elite pass rusher. I like Danny Shillen, but I don't think he's an elite run stopper. I love John Pennicini, but again, he's a rookie. I don't think he's elite yet. Like, I think we have a decent defensive line, but we don't have that dominant player in the defensive line that can just single handedly get those pressures, get those sacks, help everybody else on the field. I think we had that in Snacks for half a season, and I think our defense looked tremendous for it. But then he didn't play very well. He was injured, didn't want to be in Detroit his second year. I think the Lions just need a good defensive line because, like you said, Tony, a good defensive line makes everybody else look better. If your defensive line can get pressure and force mistakes, your secondary looks better. If your linebacker or if your defensive lineman can draw double teams, that leaves your linebackers wide open to run through a gap and get a sack or get a tackle for loss. Like, in my opinion, everything starts in the trenches on both sides of the ball. I think the Lions have built a decent trench in the offensive side with Ragnow, Jackson, Decker. I think even Vaitai could be decent. I think Tyrell Crosby's been very good this year. Like, I mean, they've built a decent to pretty solid trench in offensive line. I think they've done very well on that side of the football, and now they need to focus on the defensive trenches. They need to focus on getting a dominant nose tackle, getting a dominant edge rusher, getting a guy that isn't going to have a ceiling at 8 sacks in a season, is not going to have a ceiling at 9 sacks in a season. You want a guy that has the potential to get 20. You want the guy that, obviously, that's easier said than done, all right? I mean, obviously, that's easy to say, oh, we want Myles Garrett, we want Aaron Donald, but I mean, if you look at a lot of the successful teams in the NFL, right? Kansas City has Christian Jones, a dominant defensive lineman. And the rest of that defensive line is not bad either. I mean, Frank Clark is pretty good. I mean, they got a lot of good players on that defensive line. You look at Green Bay, they have Kenny Clark, who's a very good defensive tackle, very good nose tackle. They got Zadarius and Preston Smith, who are good pass rushers. Who else? You look at Tampa Bay, who made the playoffs. They have a good defensive tackle in Ndamukong Suh, who's playing very well. They have Shaq Barrett. They have Levante David. They have what's his name? Devin White. Is that his name? Devin White? That doesn't sound right, but I think it is. They have him from LSU, the sophomore player who got a couple sacks and is getting good pressure when he's green dogging. Like, every good team you look at has a good defensive line. It starts in the trenches. And until the Lions figure that out, I think that's why Matt Patricia failed is because, yeah, he built up a decent secondary talent-wise, but when your secondary is covering for 5 seconds, or when your secondary is forced to tackle, all these different running backs, and they're forced to, tackle, and they're not allowed to actually play coverage, or if they are playing coverage, they're, covering for 10, 15 seconds, that's not good. I mean, that is not a good thing, and I think that was Matt Patricia's biggest flaw as far as philosophy, was he wanted to build the secondary, but he failed to realize that without a good pass rush, your secondary is always going to be exposed no matter how good it is. So I think a big defensive lineman is what we need, and I would not be surprised if we go out and look at defensive linemen. I think, obviously, I mentioned Gregory Rousseau. I think that Ooh, that was a nice play by the Giants. I think that Marvin Wilson, the defensive tackle from Florida State, he had a bad season-ending injury, but I mean, he was talked about as a top 15, top 20 pick before he was injured, and now his draft stock has dropped a bit because he's been injured. So if we can get him in the 3rd, the 4th round, I think that could be a huge get in the defense line. He's a very good defensive tackle. There's a lot of talent in this draft class, and I don't think it's necessarily the strength of the class is the defensive line. But if you can get a couple players, I mean, if you can get Gregory Rousseau, if you can get Marvin Wilson, is it Marvin Wilson? It's the D tackle from Florida State, FSU. He's very good. If you can get those two guys, maybe get a nice wide receiver like Rondale Moore in the 2nd round, maybe get Kyle Trask in the 3rd round if he falls there, or if not, maybe get Desmond Ritter in the 5th. Like, I think the Lions have a lot of spaces they can go. I think there's a lot of talent at their positions of need. I mean, this is a decent linebacking class. This is a decent quarterback class. It's a very good wide receiver class. We need help on the defensive line. There's a decent amount of talent there. Like, I think this is a solid draft class that marks up with what the Detroit Lions need. I think they can get a lot of good talent. I haven't done a ton of research into the mock drafts. There's a couple of guys here and there that I like that aren't, I wouldn't say, oh, Jamal. Oh, no, he fumbled the football. Oh, no. That's not good. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it'll be an interesting situation how they go about it. Obviously, I'll have a lot of mock drafts and stuff like that coming. I'll have a lot of prospect breakdowns on guys that I like. But I think there's a lot of talent in this draft, and I think it could work very well with the Lions' needs. Oh, I think Jamal Agnew broke his collarbone. No, I don't think he did, but he is grabbing something. Uh, Agnew fumbling again. Oh no. The defense is playing pretty decent today, actually. And I know Dalvin Cook is out, so that's, what it is. Miles, Killebrew. Uh, gotta hold that. Gotta hold on to the ball. Can't be doing that. Both teams are so obviously tanking today. Jamal Agnew fumbles the ball. Kirk Cousins out drinking before the game and slipping on play action. Is throwing balls into the dirt. I'm getting to the point where I'm convinced both teams are trying to lose this football game. Am I the only one that gets that? I feel like both teams are playing incredibly sloppy football. Or the Lions are just all of a sudden having a decent defensive performance and they're getting their hand on the ball. But I want to see Tracy Walker get a pick. I love Tracy. I want to see him get ace. Romeo with another sack. Fantastic. Like, I think we have decent pieces in place, right? I was talking earlier about the defensive line. I mentioned I love Romeo Okwara. I think he's good. I love John Pennicini. Kevin Strong is playing a lot today. I've noticed he just had a fantastic play. He was triple teamed and almost got there. I mean, he's doing very good. But I think if we get that one dominant player, that one player that everybody has to keep an eye on, 3rd and 16 for the Lions. I like a lot of our pieces, but I think one elite player, one Gregory Rousseau, one top nose tackle that everybody has to focus on and everybody has to worry about on every play would help this out. Oh, that's a good play by Will Harris. I don't say that very often. That's a good play by 25. Good stuff, Will. But I think this team has a decent amount of talent, but I don't think they have that one guy that puts fear into the other team, right? I mean, they have Romeo Okwara, but he's not a premier pass rusher. He's going to get you decent sack numbers, but he's not going to, be a guy that gets double teamed every play and draws all the attention from the offensive line. We have Trey Flowers, who's a good pass rusher. He can get you 7, 8 sacks a season, but he's never going to be the guy, the premier pass rusher that's going to get you 10, 15, maybe even 20 sacks in a season or close to it. If the Lions get that one guy on the defensive line, I think they would take an enormous jump. I think they would jump up so highly in production from the sacks to the tackles for loss. I think our linebackers would play better. I think our secondary would play better with just that one elite talent. And that's why I was so on about Romeo's good though. No, Romeo's very good. But imagine Romeo on one side, but you have an elite pass rusher or an elite nose tackle next to him where they can't double team Romeo, where they're not even thinking about Romeo Okwara. And that's when he's going to be more dangerous, is when you don't account for that guy. Like right now, he's by far our best pass rusher. And teams on the offensive line, at least, are game planning around Romeo Okwara because nobody else is really getting decent pressure or getting consistent sacks. Romeo's the only guy that's doing that, so they're planning for Romeo Okwara. Imagine if we had Chris Jones, and they didn't, if they couldn't. Imagine if they had to double team Chris Jones every play, not Christian, Chris Jones from the Chiefs every single play. Imagine if they had to double team, who's another great pass rushing nose tackle. Like, if we get that one elite player, I think that would open up everything on the defense for everybody around. I think that would open up everything for this defense. And as much as I love Micah Parsons, I don't think he's going to do that. I would love Micah Parsons. If we got Micah Parsons, I'd be happy because he's going to add to that pressure. He's going to be a pass rusher for us sometimes, and he's going to be a fantastic linebacker. But I don't think he's a pure pass rusher. And, I don't know. I think a great defensive lineman, and that's why I was so for going to trade for Chris Jones, because he has that kind of impact. He has that impact where teams are going to game plan around him, and he's not only going to get you production, but he's going to help everybody else get production. If you draft or if you get an elite pass rusher, you're not getting one player. You're not helping one position. You're helping every position. Because the secondary, right? If you draft the cornerback, that might help your team a little bit, right? If he's a true lockdown cornerback, the quarterback can't throw it, but he can move on. He can go to the next read. He can go to a check down. He can scramble. If you get a good linebacker, yeah, he can be a great linebacker, but if the offensive line is getting to the second level, it's going to be tough for him to make plays. But if you have a great defensive lineman, he makes everybody else look better, because if he is being double teamed, that means somebody else on your line is not getting double teamed and they have a better opportunity to make plays. If you have a great defensive lineman, your linebackers are going to have better open holes. Your running mates on the defensive line are going to have better opportunities to go get sacks. The secondary is not going to have to cover as long. Therefore, they're going to look better. They're going to get more picks because the offense is going to make some unforced errors. Like, the defensive line can make everybody look better. And I think that's where teams are successful. That's where great teams become great, is in the trenches. You look at Alabama, as they are a national championship team. They are in the national championship. They have a fantastic defensive line. You look at Ohio State. They had their defensive line played phenomenally versus Clemson. They got so many pressures and so many sacks. Oh, there goes the Cleveland Browns up 7. But you look at Ohio State in their semifinal game. They had so many pressures and so many sacks, and they didn't even have an elite player. They did not have a Chase Young this year. They did not have that elite pass rusher that's going to go in the first round this year. But what they did have is good team, defensive line play. And as a result, I think everybody would tell you they by far had their best defensive performance of the season when they needed the absolute most. You look at the teams that lost. You look at Clemson, they did not get a lot of pressure on Justin Fields. You look at Notre Dame, they did not get any pressure on Mac Jones. They did not stop the run at all, and it was all on their secondary and their linebackers, and as a result, it didn't look very good. Like, I think it would just be – I think if you want to be a great team, you start in the defensive line. You start in the trenches, and that's, obviously that was quite a long rant. But I think that's the best move for the Lions. Let's see. DeAndre with the ball, getting about 4. Not a bad run by my man DeAndre. I should probably go to the Gamecast so people can actually see what's going on. That's my fault. That is my fault. Alrighty. Should be loading up in just a quick second. Alrighty. Let's see. Matt Stafford on the 50. Hands it to DeAndre. Makes a nice sidestep. Gets right up to just about the first down. My goodness, is DeAndre Swift a great, great player. The Lions, I think, are the better team in this game, and that scares me a little bit. The Lions are the better team in this game, and that scares me a lot. Because as much as I want to see Stafford walk out with a win to end the season, as much as I want to go into the offseason with a victory, I also... Dog, we just broke out the Wildcat. Bro, we just broke out the Wildcat. Mohamed Sanu's going to throw the ball today. Mohamed Sanu's going to throw the football today. I don't know when. I don't know who the ball's going to. I don't know what situation they're going to call it in. Mohamed Sanu's going to throw the football today, and it's going to be a touchdown or a big play. It's going to be sick. Darrell Bevel's trying to play for his job. He's getting interviewed this week as well. Man, our offensive line is blocking phenomenally. Stafford! Poor cameraman. Help the man up, Marvin. Good man. Let's go. Fantastic play. Great throw by Stafford. Great drop. I'm not quite sure what happened here. Oof. Good stuff, Marv. That's a touchdown. That's the Lions on the board. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic. That's what I'm talking about. That was a great throw. That was really good protection. The Lions offensive line the last couple of weeks, not so much against Tampa Bay, but and Matt Prater missed the extra point. Oh no. Well, that's how you know it's going to be a long day. Still, great start for the Lions. Good touchdown. Great, fantastic throw by Matt. Good protection. Both sides of the ball are playing well today, and ironically enough, the special teams is the only one that's made a big mistake today. Tough, but still got a lot of room. Still got a long way to go. A long ways to go. So it'll be interesting, man. But yeah, y'all thinking so far? Y'all impressed with the Lions? I know it's not what you want to see, but there's Dr. Detroit. I see you. Oh, and of course your first comment has talking about Matt Stafford. I love it. I love seeing you, Dr. Detroit. I love you, man. Lions look like they are ready to play Stafford. Stafford, typical SOL Lions. Yeah, they would be ready to play in week 16, week 17 even. Hey, I mean, you can't fault Stafford for trying to win a football game. You can't fault Stafford for making the good throws. But yeah, I get what you're saying, man. I get what you're saying. Hopefully the defense starts playing like the Lions defense and less like the Legion of Boom. We need to keep running today. Let Swift get his time. Shut it down. Stafford at halftime. Minnesota is trying to lose. I actually genuinely think Minnesota's trying to lose. Like, there's no way Kirk Cousins slips that much. I've never once seen Kirk Cousins fall, and I saw it twice in a row. Kirk Cousins is missing all the easy throws that obviously Kirk Cousins is not a good quarterback or not a great quarterback, but I've seen Kirk Cousins make those throws before, and he's missing them today. I'm low-key convinced that they're trying to tank, and they're trying to make our draft position worse. Like, as much as I want to see Stafford win, as much as I want to see the Lions win, and I want to see us beat a division rival, like, it's kind of late for that. Yes, I can. He is not a team player. He is a stat getter. We all know he's tough. He is screwing. I mean, what's he supposed to do as a competitor? Just lose? Like, I want the Lions to lose. Like, I'm not disagreeing with that. But what is Stafford supposed to do? Just sit there and throw interceptions all day? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Stafford's a competitor. He's not going to go out there to lose the football game. I don't think any of them are going out there to lose the football game. Maybe the Minnesota coaches are, but I think in the NFL at the highest competitive, the highest level of competition you can be at, I just don't think you can convince 53 guys to lose the game on purpose. Now, in saying that, the Minnesota Vikings look like they're trying to. I'm not going to lie. The Minnesota Vikings are not doing great. Oh, yes, just be himself while throwing interceptions. Hey, Stafford's only got he's only got 9 this season, all right? Stafford is going to end the season, hopefully, with single-digit interceptions for the first time ever. Well, he had 10 last year. I can't remember. He's going to finish his first full season with at least single digits. Yeah. Bro, you're confusing me. Just be his typical self. I told everybody before you got here, Dr. Detroit, I missed you. I missed your comments. I missed your snark. I missed your Stafford hate. I miss it all, man. I wasn't live streaming last week because I was working with the Lions for their fan mural thing. So, how many touchdowns? I think he has 29 or 30 on the season. I believe Stafford is 29 right now, if I'm not mistaken. That touchdown might have been the 30th. Top 3 and 3 now. So that's not all Stafford's fault, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, I think we need a different coaching staff because Kirk Cousins is actually trying to throw the game. I swear to God. I swear. Kirk Cousins is actually trying to throw the football game. Look at this man, bro. Look at how poorly he's throwing the football. Will Harris had good coverage. Why is Will Harris playing good today? Why on earth in week 17, when we need to lose the game, does Will Harris decide he wants to be an NFL player now? Like, what is wrong with this Lions team? Why in a game that we have to lose do the Lions all of a sudden decide they want to be competitive? There's my Lions team. There they are. There it is. Prater's doing his best. Prater's doing his part. He missed his field goal. I feel weird rooting against the Lions, and it's 99% sarcasm, basically, is what I'm talking about today. Obviously, I'll be happy either way because if we win, my Lions win. If we lose, I'm just going to keep in the back of my mind we get a better draft position and we get a better draft spot. But in saying that, I'm going to be very sarcastic today. So let's see. Play action by Kirk. Ooh, good move by Austin Bryant there on the. Jared Davis almost like murdered that guy. Yeah, today for me, I'm just watching individual players. I could care less about the score. I could care less about Matt Stafford. I could care less about Marvin Jones. I'm looking for the youngins. I'm looking for Julian. I'm looking for Austin Bryant. I'm looking for even Will Harris and Tracy Walker. I'm looking at Jelani a lot. I'm looking at Kevin Strong particularly. I think he's showing some good flash. Amani, I'm hoping is a good game, but I've seen enough out of him. I know. Who got that stop? Is that Christian Jones? Doesn't count. I'm never ever gonna give credit to Christian Jones for anything. I actually don't. I don't know. I watched Luke G's video on Christian Jones, and I kind of have a different opinion. I kind of agree. I think he does his job, but I don't think he's anything special. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I hope we cut Christian Jones because I personally, nothing against him as a. Oh, get him, Tracy. Yes, sir. Nice. Good, nice play by Tracy Walker right there. Tracy Walker the third getting the sack. Forcing third down. Jared Davis is right behind him too. Why are they sending pressures today? Like, why do they low key have a good defensive game plan? They had 3 players in the backfield. They had a safety and 2 linebackers at the quarterback. What is wrong with Corey Edelman today? They're gonna blow out Minnesota today, and they're gonna do just enough where Sheila Ford's gonna be like, "Well, I saw what it could be at the end of the season." It's gonna be some BS, bro. Oh, Jelani forced the fumble. Nice force. Good punch out by Jelani. Good reaction by what's his name? By the 66. Bam, good hit. Tracy almost had that too. I like how I refer to my players, not like how I say my players. Did they just score? That doesn't happen on my screen yet, but I'm sure it'll happen on this play. There's my Lions defense. There's my Lions D. I like how I refer to them as my Lions, and I like how I refer to them by their first names. Like I know them personally, even though I've never once talked to a Lions player, even though I wish I could. If anybody knows any Lions players, hit them up and tell them that I'd love to talk to some of them. I'd love to interview some of them. My goodness, that was a whiff by Tracy, but it was a neck. I mean, tough. There it is. 7-6 Minnesota. We're already losing. I like it. I like it. I love it, in fact. Alrighty. Well, that was they were playing good defense for a bit. I'm just moving my water over here full time. They were playing good defense for a while. That was a nice fumble or nice forced fumble. They got a nice sack on the drive. Like, Jelani Tavai is slow as anything. Jelani Tavai is very slow, but that was I don't know, man. Lions are down once again. It's not going fantastic for this Lions team, but we'll get there. Did y'all come back if I stream the national championship game? This is something I was thinking about doing. I might stream the Natty game on Saturday, and then I might stream a playoff game on Sunday. What are we thinking? Because I kind of want to expand into a little bit more than just the Lions. Like I kind of want to do some stuff with the playoff teams. I kind of want to do some stuff with other NFL teams and NFL in general. And then I also might get into college a little bit. I might obviously the national championship game is huge. Um, there won't be a whole lot of college football after that, but I'm just throwing ideas around. What do y'all think? Would you come back on Saturday if I were to stream the Natty? Or would y'all not be interested in that? Just let me know. I'd be very curious. It'll still be mostly Lion stuff, of course, but I think it could be interesting. Could be a fun way to expand. Do the playoffs. Yeah, I was thinking about doing the playoffs for sure. Um, I think that was something that I'm very excited for because then I can actually watch teams win and actually see good football. I didn't even realize that was Romeo Okwara's 10th sack. That's a good season by Romeo. Good stuff. Um, who do y'all root for in the playoffs? How do you guys go about your playoff experience? Because for me, I generally pick a team for the playoffs. And I usually don't pick like the number one team or the number one seed, but generally I like to pick a team in the playoffs and I root for that team. In 2017, I picked the Jaguars because I liked their story. I thought they were a fantastic football team, and unfortunately, they lost in the AFC Championship last year. I think I like the Titans. The Titans I actually really really liked. Um, I thought they were fun. They were my team last year. I think this year I'm going to root for the Bills. I like the Bills in the playoffs. Obviously I'm not going to do like a full-time Bills thing or anything, but I like Buffalo a lot this year. I think they're a very good team. I think they're very much what the Detroit Lions should be. They have a good defense. They have a good quarterback. I wish we were the Bills, like low key. So I think they're my team this year for the playoffs that I'm going to be rooting for. But what do you guys do the same thing? Do you like pick a team to root for? Like the Ravens and the Browns and Bills. Yeah. Yeah, I like the Ravens. I do like the Ravens a lot. I like Lamar Jackson. I just think he's incredibly fun to watch. Um and then the Browns, I feel for the Browns, man. Like the Browns are have a very similar history to the Lions of losing a lot, like being successful a long time ago, but in the modern era, losing a lot of football games. So I kind of feel for the Browns in that scenario. Obviously, I can't feel too bad for them this year because they made the playoffs, or they're very likely going to. But I'm um, but yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think the playoffs should be very exciting this year. The AFC is stacked for playoffs, man. They're going to have probably an 11-win team miss the playoff, which is incredible considering the football team might win the AFC or the NFC least with like a 6-win record. Bro, what are they at? Where is the Redskins play last, don't they? Sorry. So the Redskins, I keep saying Redskins. I'm not being racist. I apologize. The football team, it could win the NFC least with 7 wins. Yep. Yep. 7 wins. 7. Like as many points as the Vikings have on the scoreboard right now is how many wins they need to win the division. That is incredibly sad. Incredibly sad. Isn't there a way the Eagles win the division? Isn't that what it came down to? Was like no, there's no way. That's not possible. I really hope the Eagles win because I think if the Eagles win, they're gonna jump us. If we lose and the Eagles win, they jump us in draft spot. If the Panthers win, which I hope they do, because the Saints are benching everybody, we jump up another spot. If I hope the Broncos win today, because I think Vegas is slightly overrated. But if Denver wins, we jump up a spot. Of course, assuming we lose this football game. I hope the Texans lose, but I don't know if they would jump us at all. And then I really want Atlanta Falcons. I really want the Atlanta Falcons to win a football game. But I have a strange feeling that they won't. And why do they play the Buccaneers like 2 out of the last 3 weeks? That's poor scheduling in my opinion. And I know how they schedule football games because as fan of the year they had a whole meeting on how they schedule things. So I know that it's, not as simple as that, but that seems very strange. Who else? I don't think it matters other than that. I don't know what record New England has, but I think they're already ahead of us. Miami is going to make the playoffs and probably have a top 5 pick. I don't know. The Lions could drop a ton. What's the rooting guide for today? I looked at it earlier and I totally forgot it, but I'm pretty sure I just figured it out all by myself. Look at AP go. Run, Adrian. Get him. Get that man going. One Pride Nation, if you're still in the building, I apologize for not responding to your DM earlier. We kind of talked about that. I saw it. I just didn't quite get to it yet. What do y'all think about the new GMing thing? About the Lions going after and pursuing the Seahawks GM pretty nicely. That's quite the update. I might have to do a little video on that one come Tuesday. Obviously, because tomorrow would be the recap of likely the season. I might do this game. Oh, look at Everson with the hands. I don't know. It'll be figured out. We'll figure it out. Consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Look at Adrian Peterson up there, man. Look at Adrian. Fantastic running back. Oh, I need everybody with 4 to 5 wins to win their game today, except for the Lions. I need the Lions to lose. I need the Falcons to win. I need the football team to win. I need who else was up there? Okay, I need Vegas to win. I need not Vegas. I need all the 5 win teams to win except for Detroit. That's what I meant. I think I got confused. I confused myself. Good throw. Good catch by the Pro Bowler. Fantastic stuff. All right, let's see. We might check in on the Falcons game because that's the only game right now that matters for the Lions. I believe. I don't think the Giants. I don't think the Giants have a huge impact. I can check. Stuff AP. Oh, so the Giants are 5-10, so I need them to win as well, which it looks like they're going to do. Or it looks like they are right now, at least. I like Eric Wilson a lot. I kind of hope the Lions go after him in free agency. Great throw by Matt Stafford. Good touchdown grab by Quintez Cephas. There's a rookie getting some playing time today. It's not a bad way to end your final game as a rookie. Or to start it, I guess. Oh, my God. Stafford is throwing dots today. Stafford is throwing absolute dots today, but that missed PAT in the beginning might come back to bite us just a slight little bit. We got 6 viewers in the chat. That's more than we had before. Let's welcome all the new guys in, newbies. If you're in the building, I'd love to see what y'all are up to. I'd love to hear from y'all about this game so far. Stafford's out here throwing dots, bro. He just thread the needle right there. Nice chance to go. I'm really excited for not only this off season, but I love making highlight videos. And you guys probably know that. I'm really excited for next year's because I have a lot of good ideas for it. And I want to start working on it because I want it to be the best it can be. I'm excited. Y'all will enjoy it. I promise. You guys will enjoy this one. It won't be out for quite a while. It probably won't even be out till closer to the start of next season. But I'm gonna be working on it for a long time. And it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it. But let's see. Any big news going around somewhere else that I've not heard of? Other than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers suck. I hate them. Let's see. Turn that one down. We got 5 viewers right now. And we got 5 likes. That's not horrible. That's pretty darn solid. If that 6th person could get us a like, that would be sick. That'd be pretty darn cool. But that does not seem to be the case. So, if not, that is totally fine. That is all right. So, I mean, Lions up 13-7 beginning of the second quarter. Stafford is looking good today. He's looking very hot. Our offensive line looks fantastic. Well, Alexander Madison doing his thing. Marvin Jones about to have a good day. What is Hawkinson at statistically? I want to jump off this really quickly. I just want to see Hawkinson really quickly. I want to know where he's at, how far away he is from his record, because I really want him to hit it today. That's one thing I want. I'm rooting for Stafford to hit his 4,000. I'm rooting for Hawkinson to get his record. So he's over 700 at this point because obviously it's not up to date. It's not up to date with this game, of course. And then what's the Lions' record? Detroit Lions. Always capitalize the I for no reason. Oh, get him. Ooh, solid hit. Nice stuff by our fullback, Jason Kabinda. Good man. So if we go to, what would it be? Would it be, I guess, career leaders? Oh no, it would be single season, obviously. I'm an idiot. Stafford doesn't want us to get a top 3 pick. Stafford doesn't want to get replaced by a top 3 pick. Because if we have a top 3, that gives us a real good chance to get Justin Fields, who I think would be a good pickup. All right. So if we go to single season, we go to yardage. Obviously, Calvin John. Oh, that's not a good play. Oh, I got Chris Spielman on. What's he saying? 1 second. Cool. Let's see if we go down to tight end. I don't know what FL means, but I'm pretty sure that's not a tight end. So the first tight end on the board, we had 2 left ends. That's we have a lot of left ends. Wow. So this is the first tight end I've seen. It's Brandon Pettigrew with 777. So if Hawkinson gets like 80 yards today, he's going to break a record, which is very cool to see. Very cool. So what, he needed 82 yards coming into the day? Well, I don't know what he has. So right now he's at 24, so he's over 700. He needs 60, 65, a little less. I'm hoping, man, one big play and we can see it. Obviously not here because he's not on defense, but Get there. Oh my goodness, bro. Well, we got the penetration. We didn't tackle, though. I can't do, like, why do the Lions play well on week 17? Can every week be week 17? Rick Spielman and Chris Spielman. I didn't realize. I would assume they're related. I would assume that was the case. But I didn't know that his brother, whoever, I didn't know his relative was part of that. Ugh. It was a great catch. There's nothing, I mean, nothing Tracy could do on that one, really. That was not even a great throw. It was just a great catch. Hands up. Let's go. Oh, that was a decent hit. Not bad. The Fox family? Wouldn't that be the Ford family? Ugh. Well, boys, I think our Lions defense is going to give up another touchdown. Got my footrest back up. Oh, if we're going to lose, I might as well lose while comfortable. Alrighty. Let's see how this goes. Alrighty. It's my whole back wall. You very rarely see the Calvin Johnson. Oh, that's a good play by Daryl Roberts. It's a great play by Daryl Roberts, in fact. It's a fantastic play. I can move stuff. Justin Jefferson is a good receiver, man. That was a good breakup, though. I wouldn't mind if we could bring Roberts back for some depth. I don't like him as a starter, but I do think if we needed him to step in a couple minutes, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't be super concerned, except for this out route, bro. Man, I don't like Amir. Why does Amir Abdullah always play against us? That was that was a very good drawn up play. Who can tank harder? I kind of really hope it's the Lions. Like, if we're gonna win, we might as well blow out the Vikings. The only way I want to see a win is if we somehow win by like 30 points. Like, I don't want to see a close, intense game where I'm stressing the whole time. If we're gonna lose, I want it to be nice. Like, we make some plays here and there, but it's not super close. But if we're gonna win, I want to blow somebody out. But uh, nice. But I don't know. It's an interesting scenario the Lions are in for sure. It's an interesting one. Um, those Baker Mayfield commercials are funny. Is that Jedrick Wills?
Neighbors just called again. Told you that we were too loud. Guys, third time this week.
Nice. Those are funny commercials. I like those. I feel like the NFL always has funny commercials. I don't know what that Baker Mayfield one's actually about or like what it's supposed to advertise, but I know they're funny. This Pepsi commercial with the fan, that's a funny commercial too. NFL has funny commercials, man. Funny, funny, funny. Oh, this is an eventful game at least. At least we're seeing some nice scoring. Stafford's looking good. Stafford, he had the one bad throw but that's his only incompletion. I mean, I'll take that for sure. It's not gonna work. All right. I mean, Stafford had. I mean, his one incompletion was a horrendous throw. I mean, that was a horrific decision. But apart from that, 7 for 8, can't complain. 2 touchdowns too, 2 tutties. Can't complain too much about that. My boy Quintez Cephas got a touchdown. I like myself some Quintez Cephas. He is my dude from the draft class. He was the guy I predicted we would draft. He's a guy I'm very high on. He's a guy that I like watching. He's my dude. I might get a Cephas jersey. That might be the next guy I gotta look for. But I really like Quintez, man. I predicted we would draft him. Who do you think wins MVP this year? Like for the Lions or for the NFL? Because as much as I hate it, I think Rodgers wins the MVP for the NFL. As much as I dislike Aaron Rodgers, I would actually like if I met him in real life, I would not shake his hand. I would probably spit on him. Not really, but I don't like Aaron Rodgers as a Lions fan. I hate him with every fiber of my being. I hate Aaron Rodgers and I despise him. But but I do think he will win the MVP. Obviously MVP doesn't actually mean most valuable player, it means the best player. And unfortunately enough, I oh my god, what a throw by Matthew Stafford. Um but I do think Aaron Rodgers has been the best player in the NFL this season. I think Patrick Mahomes has made too many huge mistakes. I think Matthew Stafford made an MVP throw right there. My God. For the Lions, I mean, they're all bad. They're none. I wouldn't say none of them are great. Obviously, Stafford's in that conversation. I think you could definitely make the case for Matthew Stafford. I mean, he's about 50 yards from a 4,000 yard season. He's making some tremendous throws. I say as he puts it in the dirt. Um, I think you could make a case for Stafford. I definitely think you could make a case for TJ. I definitely think you could definitely make a case for Frank. Big Frank Ragnow. I think Frank Ragnow or DeAndre Swift would have to be. I think DeAndre Swift just makes the offense better. I think, earlier I was talking about how the D line makes everybody on the defense better. I think Frank Ragnow makes everybody on the offense better. And I also think DeAndre Swift makes this offense. I think when he's on the field, he is a great player. I think obviously the offense is just better when he's in. But I think Frank Ragnar, I think our team is just so much better. Our protection is better. Our calls are better. Our gaming, like our obviously Stafford gets better protection. Swift gets better holes. Like it, I think Frank Ragnow is my MVP for the team. Obviously not a flashy pick, but I mean Frank Ragnow just, I think he's the best center in the NFL. He is very much like the great defensive players make a defense great. Very much like the great defensive lineman can make a defense great, good offensive lineman can make an offense great. And I think Frank Ragnow is my team MVP. Hate the Packers, but Rodgers wins MVP. For the Lions, Romeo Stevens is going to be a good wide receiver for us for a long time. I think Quintez Stevens is going to be very good. Swift definitely wins Rookie of the Year for sure. I could definitely see. I think Romeo Okwara is definitely defensive MVP. I don't think there's a question on that. Romeo Okwara is our best defensive player this year. He's been our best defensive player. But I think if we were to lose Romeo Okwara, I think the impact would be less than if we were to lose Frank Ragnow, which makes him my MVP. That was a great kick by Prater. Bro, tell me why number 62 Brown is playing over Logan Stenberg. Like, explain that. But yeah, Swift wins Rookie of the Year. Romeo Okwara is Defensive Player of the Year at the very least, if not MVP. I think you could definitely have a case for that one. I don't know. I think as poor as this team has played throughout the season, I do think they have quite a few players and quite a few pieces that have had decent seasons. What was that? That was a 54. Oh my god. What a kick. What a boot by Matt Prater. Wow. Alrighty. I see you. I see you, Matty P. And I'm not talking about Patricia. Matt Prater's a weird situation because he's up for contract this year. He hits a ton of the tough kicks. I mean, he hit a 44-yarder to win at Atlanta. He hit the game-winning field goal that wasn't really a chip shot. He hit that game-winning field goal in Arizona. He made what was it? His winning field goal in against Washington was a good 59. Like that was an incredible boot. That one right there was 54. Like he's missing extra points, but at the same time, he's so clutch and he hits the tough kicks. Like if you need Matt Prater to make a 59-yard field goal as time expires to win the game, I have faith in Matt Prater. If I need Matt Prater to kick an extra point, I'm scared. Like if it came down to my life was on the line and they were like, you could have Matt Prater kick a field goal from anywhere, I'd be like, give me Matt Prater from 50 plus. That's me. That's like, I think Matt Prater is just a very good long distance kicker. Why he can't kick it short distance, I couldn't tell you. Why he struggles with extra points, I couldn't tell you. But he does hit from 50. He is the most accurate 50 plus yard kicker in NFL history. And I can't fault him for that. And that makes me want to bring him back. But then at the same time, I don't want to miss extra points. So do we carry two kickers? Why does Matt Prater look like he's crying, bro? He's fine. He's okay. Like, Matt, I love you, buddy. It's fine. Matt Prater must be listening to me talk about him. I love Matt Prater. Matt Prater's a great kicker, especially from long distance. That dude just hits different. But I mean, he struggles sometimes with the short and easy gimme stuff. Why are we winning? I don't know, Tony. I don't know why we're winning. I feel you. I feel you. I don't know, man. Because we're the Lions, and this is such a Lions thing to do. Why do we gotta end the year versus a bad Minnesota team? Like, of all the years we're not gonna end the season versus Green Bay, this would be the year. Of all the years that we're not gonna play Green Bay at Ford Field for the final game, it would be this year where we're legitimately trying to get a better pick. And I know that's the case a lot of years, but I feel like this year, especially with a new coach, we're looking for higher draft picks to maybe entice a coach to come in. Like we would get a bad Minnesota team this year,
But last year we would get Green Bay, who's on a roll. Like, I respect the people that make the schedules because, again, as I said, I went through that with one of the head guys that makes it, and it's a very cool and very difficult process for them. But dang it, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Most receiving yards by a wide receiver duo through week 16. The Vikings are fourth. The Lions are way down there because big boy Kenny G has not been playing. Oh, I just thought of something. Are there any Michigan fans in here? I want to know. If you're a Michigan fan, just put me or put Go Blue or put something because I have a very serious question for you. I just thought of this. Don't know what made it spark in my mind, but I'd love to know if somebody in here is a Michigan fan. I would love to ask you a question. I'd love to. That's a bad running defense by our Lions. But at the same time, maybe it's good rushing defense because we want to lose. Oh, think about it. Think about it. I don't know how long this stream is delayed. I think it's 30 seconds. But I really hope somebody responds with like "Go Blue" or me that you just tell me you're a Michigan fan because I'm not gonna make fun of you. I promise. I'm a Notre Dame fan. My team just got smoked in the playoffs, so I get it. It's not fun. Not fun losing. I get it. I'm not gonna make fun of you if you are a Michigan fan, but I do have a very serious question for you guys. Justin Jefferson's cleats are cool. Elvin Kamara had amazing cleats. I don't know who told him to wear those on Christmas night. I don't know who told him to wear his custom Christmas cleats. Those things were clean, and the fact that he got fined $5,000 for being festive on a holiday is ridiculous. My man got fined $5,000 for wearing red and green cleats on Christmas night when he's forced to go out on a holiday and play. He's not allowed to be festive. Huh. Seems very strange, NFL. Very, very strange. But, you know, things happen sometimes, I guess. I can't change it. Alvin Kamara did a very cool thing though. He for every dollar he got fined by the NFL, he donated that much to some charity. I can't remember which one. We donated to some charity. False start? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I like how Romeo didn't even stop, bro. Romeo's like, I'm getting this rep in right now. He did a nice little move on them, dude, and got right past. I know he wasn't trying, but Romeo snap didn't count. The play didn't count. Romeo don't care. He's getting that work. Ooh. I really like Kevin Strong, if I haven't mentioned. Why in the world do we get pressure now? Why in the world? He split a double team on that. Excuse me? Sheila better walk into that locker room at halftime, walk right up to Daryl Bell, smack him right across the face, and say, "What are you doing?" He missed it anyway. The Vikings are tanking harder than the Lions right now. Bro, what is going on? I hate being negative, and trust me, it doesn't look like Atlanta's going to win anyway, which sucks. That doesn't help. Yeah, read Bailey's lips. He said a not nice word. Um, but like, my goodness, bro, can we not win this football game? Of all the games I wanted to win this year, this was not one of them. This was not the one that I wanted to win. But this is the one the Lions are gonna win. I'm telling you, I told you guys in the preview video, this team isn't good. This Minnesota team is trash. They're really bad. They're horrible. They have a better record than us. They're a bad football team, guys. So, I mean, I don't know where to go with this. The Giants are winning, but I need the Lions to lose before anything can happen. Before I can get excited about other teams winning and losing around us, I gotta. No, Jess, you gotta break that. I mean, like, what's going on? I hate being negative. I think of myself as a very positive person. I think of myself as a very positive Lions fan. But like, bruh. And I don't want to see Stafford throw a pick six because I love Stafford. I don't want to see any of my Lions dudes fail. I don't want to see any of my Lions make a bad play or turn the ball over or anything like that. But I've seen the defense play bad before. And I'm not expecting anything out of the defense. Maybe I should. I'm expecting the defense to not give up any points the rest of the game. That's my new strategy. I went into the game not expecting anything out of this team, and they're winning. They're playing decent football. They're getting 3 sacks and a half. I'm expecting 0 points. I'm expecting the Lions to give up 0 points to this Vikings team in the second half. And you know what? That's how it's going to be. 0 points the rest of the game. 0 points. The Lions will not give up a single point the rest of the year. And they will walk out of this game with a huge victory. That's the prediction. I'm always wrong, so hopefully it stays with us. Any thoughts on Amazon picking up the NFL? I mean, I think it's smart by Amazon. I think it's very smart by Amazon. I've mentioned this a couple of times, and you might be getting sick of hearing it. When I met with the dude that does schedules, he talked a lot about networks picking stuff up and how that affects the schedules. And he informed me that the NFL every year has 24 of the top 25 most viewed, I guess, like episodes, channels, games, like they have 24 of the 25 most viewed, like, lengths of content. I don't know how to describe it, right? Because theirs are games, but some of them are shows, some of them are movies, like stuff like that. But like out of everything on national television, the NFL has 24 out of the 25 most viewed programs when they are on. Out of the entire year, they have 24 of the top 25. So if Amazon can get 3 of those games a year, if they can, or not 3, if they can get 1 game a week to be on Amazon, that's money well spent, in my opinion. I think it's very smart. I think, especially with it being Amazon and it not being national television, I think they could do a lot more with it. I think they could, I'm not going to say be more explicit or be, more graphic, but I do think if it's on a private network, I do think, you could have some more things where players are mic'd up, where you could hear players talking more, where you might hear them swear a bit more. You might get a little bit more of that feeling from the game. I think it could be a cool experience. It could be something different that Amazon provides is, a more in-depth look at the talking, how, the language on the field, they're trash talking, all of that. So, I mean, I think it's a great investment personally by Amazon. I mean, the NFL gets views. The NFL gets views. I think he said the Wednesday afternoon game between the Steelers and the Ravens got more views and more viewers than the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals, their highest viewed game, had less views Then that Wednesday afternoon game between the Steelers and the Ravens. So yeah, Amazon made a very smart decision in picking up some of the NFL games. And if they can continue to do that, and even at some point maybe provide a little bit more in-depth on-field action, or they have anything special about their program that you don't get on regular TV, that would be sick. Oh my! Oh, you got to catch that, Sanu. That was a good throw on the run by Matt Stafford. He had him too. He's laughing it off, but you know Stafford's not happy. He dropped that in a bucket. Oh, you got to catch that, Muhammad. He thought he had it. Stafford thought he had it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Not what you want to see, but 3rd and 10, Stafford. Throw a dime. Throw a dime. And I just saw that he got sacked, so I'm sorry, Stafford. Jonah Jackson! Oh, that wasn't Jonah's fault. It was a little Jonah's fault. It was a little bit on Jonah. Goof. Nobody wants to see you licking your paws, all right? Nobody wants to see that. But yeah, I mean, he looks all right. Stafford looks good to go. He got right back up and popped, so I think he's good. All right, Lions. Now do something crazy, right? Give up points. Give them up. Just get scored on one time. Go into halftime down. Minnesota, let them establish the running game. It'll be great. Trust me, it'll be a fantastic experience. Will be great. It'll be so much fun. Definitely don't let them block the punt because Jack Fox is important and I don't want him getting anything blocked. That's a fantastic tackle by Mike Ford. But again, it's not exactly what I'd like to see. So that's always fun. Hmm. I like Mike Ford a lot. I like Mike Ford a ton as a player. I think he brings good special teams value. And I think he obviously brings some decent depth at CB. That sucks that Dalvin Cook isn't playing today. Obviously, no fault of his own, and I'm not saying he should be playing, but it sucks for him that he can't finish the season out. At least not the way he wanted to, of course. Shadow. Oh, that's a great catch. We got 7 viewers. That's a record for today. 55 seconds left in the half. Who is that? Is that Nick Williams, 97? Looks like it. That's unfortunate, but then we might get to see a bit more Kevin Strong and John Pennicini, which could be fun. The Giants are whooping some butt. I like to see that. I do like to see that. Big ol' Sterling Shepard. Now I need the... Can you clinch? Is that true? Oh my God. The New York Giants could make the playoffs with 6 victories. Yep. You heard me. 6. 6 victories. They could go 6-10 and make the playoffs. Not only that, they can go 6-10 and win their division. They could be the 4th seed with 6 wins. We got 9 viewers in the building. Did you hear me say that? The New York Giants very well could make the playoffs at 6-10. That is phenomenal. And the Detroit Lions are allowing a bit of a drive to happen. I can't lie. They're down to 39 seconds. The Minnesota Vikings are moving a little slowly, but they're moving. They're at the Lions' 32-yard line. Cousins is sitting there. My view is behind, dropping back. That's pressure. That's a screen. Jelani Tavai sniffed that out. And Abdullah is not going anywhere with the screen pass. It's not happening this time. The Lions saw it last time. They know what's going on. Abdullah knows what's happening. Jelani knows what's happening. They got the stop. Big play by Jelani Tavai. Another good play for the second week in a row. I think they found a spot for Jelani. I truly do. I think he's found a little bit of a role, and finally he's playing in a role that suits him. So that can't hurt him, right? I don't know. It'll be very interesting as far as coordinators go too, because I don't know what coordinators we might be able to coax over to Detroit. I would be very interesting. Obviously, the head coach and the GM matter first, but then it'll be interesting to see who. Abdullah needs a big game. Why is that? Just because Everson could have had that. Why does Abdullah need a big game? Am I missing something? Just to prove a point to the Lions, just so the Lions lose? Like, I'm just curious. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just curious why, because am I missing something other than obviously that would very much contribute to the Lions losing? Is there another reason behind that, or is that just why? Because I think it'd be funny. I think it would be hilarious if Abdullah had like a huge like game breaking run or something, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Yeah, okay. So it's just so we need to lose. I can get behind that. I didn't know if maybe there was another reason or something like that. But yeah, if it's just so the Lions lose, I can't argue with that too much. So, oh, if only Mr. Cook could be here for today. But unfortunately, he could not. Unfortunately, Dalvin, along with his brother who missed the Georgia Cincinnati game, they are both back home in Florida. It's a tough one. Look at Jelani forcing another fumble. Oh my god. That's two on the day by Jelani Tavai, who's just punching the ball. He got beat on the coverage, but my goodness, he got back in and freaking smashed the ball. Like, my goodness. Jelani's trying to make a point today. Free play. Imagine throwing it 15 yards out of bounds on a free play. My goodness, Kirk Cousins is a goober. Absolute goof, man. No, it's not. It's on the lines. I saw it. Big EG, Everson Griffin, is, yeah, he was way offside. What head coach and GM do I prefer so far? So for me, I'm not super well versed in the general manager range, that whole, section. I'm not super well versed. I'm not super, I guess, knowledgeable in the all the finite details of what makes a fantastic GM. Based on who I've seen the Lions look at, I do like Rick Smith from the Texans. I think he was a very good drafter. And obviously, I think he hit on a couple decent free agents. So I like him. I think he would be a safe pick. I think he would be a solid, safe GMing pick. I don't know if he has an incredibly high ceiling. I think you know what you're getting with Rick Smith, and that's a good football team. But I think he's a very safe pick. I think he would be a very safe hire and a good hire at that. But I do like Lewis Riddick. I do think he's very good. I think he has quite a few good qualifications. I really, really like Ed Dodds from Indianapolis. I think he is my number one right now. Did they just score a touchdown? I'll get back to you, Tony. Give me like 2 seconds. Did they just score a touchdown? They very much, in fact, did. Mr. BB scored a touchdown on us because we can't tackle for anything. I don't know who missed that tackle, but it was not good. Right now, I would say Ed Dodds is my preferred choice. I just think he built a very good team in Indianapolis. Um, I think he got the right coaches there. I think he knows exactly what he wants from a head coach. And I think he did a fantastic job in Indianapolis, and I think he'd do a great job in Detroit, especially with Robert Saleh, a guy that he wants as his head coach. So I think, especially if we are to bring in Saleh, or if the interest between both sides is there, like a lot of people believe it is, um, I think he could be. I think those two would be a good pairing together because they want to work together. They both shown that they're very good at their jobs. So I think that could be a real good pairing. I think Ed Dodds is my favorite GM. Robert Saleh, I think, is my favorite coaching candidate so far. I think he does good everywhere. I think he knows how to build a team. We were talking earlier about building through the trenches, and that's exactly what he's done in San Francisco. He's a former linebackers coach, so I think while building up a front seven you can be proud of, he's going to develop Jelani and Jared Davis tremendously. And then, obviously, with that being the case, you see San Francisco's defense doing all right with a bunch of backup cornerbacks. I'm not saying Amani and Okuda are going to be the best, but I think he can do a lot of damage with those two in his secondary. I think he can do some good stuff with them. You see you see Tracy Walker. I think he's better than any safety on San Fran right now. So I wouldn't be surprised there if we see a good resurgence from him under Robert Saleh. But again, I don't think Robert Saleh is the only guy. I think PJ Fleck is a guy that very much underrated coaching candidate, but I think a guy that can be incredibly successful at the next level, a guy that has a track record of building programs, building culture, and turning bad teams into good teams. I think he's a fantastic choice. He would be probably my number two. The more I look into it, I really like Brian Dable from Buffalo. I think, I made a video on him, and a lot of Buffalo fans are very high on him. I think he'd be very good. He was big in developing Josh Allen. I think he could be good at developing another young quarterback. Personally, I don't like Eric Bieniemy. I get Matt Patricia vibes off of him. And I could go on for a long time about that. And if you are a big fan of Eric, I mean, that's totally cool. But personally, I get Matt Patricia vibes from Eric Bieniemy. I just think the fact that he has Andy Reid to help him, that he has Andy Reid as that security net. He's never really been by himself. He's obviously been surrounded by arguably the most talented offense in NFL history. Like I get a lot of Matt Patricia vibes from him, and that scares me a lot. That personally scares me a ton with Eric Bieniemy. And then, I haven't looked into it a ton, but when I did my Eric Bieniemy video, there were a lot of people saying that he has a little bit of a questionable past, which again reminds me of Matt Patricia. And for me personally, I don't like him as a coach. I don't want him to be my coach. I think he can still be successful. I think he can still be a good head coach. But I don't want him to be my head coach personally. What is Stephon Diggs flossing, bro? Um, I think that's it. I think my top three GMing candidates, I think one would be Ed Dodds. I think number two would be Lewis Riddick. And then I think number three would be Rick Smith, just because he's security. He's a safe pick. He's a safe hire. For head coaches, I think Robert Saleh is my one. PJ Fleck is my two. I really do like Brian Dable as a head coaching candidate. I think he's my 3. I think you could look at, people are gonna laugh, and I'm sure I'll get some comment, but I think what's his name? Marvin Lewis from Arizona State. He's now at Arizona State, a longtime Cincinnati Bengals head coach. I think he could be a good coordinator for us. I think he could even be, um, I don't want him as our head coach, but I do think he could be a good coordinator with head coaching experience to help a young coach out. Like, I think there's a lot of good candidates out there. And I'll definitely talk about Marvin Lewis a lot because I think he'd be a real good defensive coordinator for us. Um, and just to elaborate a little bit, I think obviously he has a long time coaching experience. He built up a very good defense for the Ravens. That Bengals defense was pretty decent for a while. They went to the playoffs a lot under his tenure, and I know they kept him around way longer than they should have. But he's a players coach. He's a guy that his players like playing for. He built up many, many good defenses with the teams he's been with. He has coaching experience. So if we do bring in Robert Saleh, um, if we do bring in Robert Saleh, he he has that guy behind him with head coaching experience that he can look to for a little bit of guidance if it's necessary. Like I think I think Marvin Lewis would be a good defensive coordinator for us. Pairing him with Robert Saleh, two guys that have built different but very good defenses in their times. Like I think that could be a nice. I think that could be a nice to hire defensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator, I got no idea, man. OC, I'm not entirely sure who's available. I'm not entirely sure who would want to like if they have a defensive coordinator job right now, I don't know who would want to leave that to come to Detroit. Um, maybe an offensive guy from college, but I don't know. It'll be very interesting as far as coordinators go. And I know you didn't ask about coordinators, but it's halftime and I got to talk about something. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of good candidates out there, but I think my ideal GM and coach would be the Sala and Dodds duo. I think those two would be very good together. They already want to work together. They're both tremendously good at their jobs. I'm not saying hire one because of the other. That's very Bob Quinney for the Lions to do. But I think they would work together. They want to work together. They're both good at their jobs. If you hire them strictly separately, you hire one and then interview the other, and you decide he's the best coach, then you hire the other guy. Like it, I think they would be a good duo together. I think they would work very, very well together. They want to work together. They want to be on the same team. They want to build the same team. Obviously, they've both built successful teams. Ed Dodds, his team has a very good chance of being a dangerous team in the playoffs. Robert Saleh was in the Super Bowl a year ago. So for me, those are my two. But again, I think PJ Fleck is kind of my secondary guy. I think he's my dark horse candidate. They were actually talking about him earlier on the TV. I think he'd be good too. I think he'd be very, very good. But yeah, look at Bo Scarborough, man. I miss Bo. Bo knows, man. He's a good running back for us. He was good, but injury prone to all. He was very injury prone, unfortunately enough. All right, I will be right back. I gotta go. Roll one Pride Nation. I'll get to your comment in just a second. Let me run and get something real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, buddy. All right, I'm back, people. One Pride Nation says, I like how Duron Harmon is helping out the tank by not tackling. Well, so you see, Duron Harmon doesn't tackle at all. It's not just in this game. Duron Harmon always struggles to tackle, and I mean always. And it's not that I hate Duron Harmon. It's not that I even dislike him as a player. But and it's not that I'm rooting against him in any way, shape, or form, I guess is what I should have said, because I don't like him as a player. I lied. I don't hate him. I want him to be successful. I want him to be good, but Duron Harmon is not good. He's not fast enough to be a center fielding safety. He doesn't tackle well enough to be a starting safety. He is a decent communicator and he's a good leader. In fact, he's a good leader, a good communicator, which is a good skill to have as a free safety. But he doesn't have the skill set to be a starting safety. He's a rotational guy at best. And for me, I'm not going to extend a rotational safety when I have Tracy Walker. Even I would take Will Harris over him because Will Harris has actually played all right today. Will Harris is already on the roster, so you don't have to cut him or lose him. To me, there are a lot of good safeties in this draft class that are not going to go particularly high. One of which I think will not even go until the 4th or 5th round is the safety from Pittsburgh, from Pitt. I can't remember his name. It's something Ford. He's a huge hitter. He hits kind of high sometimes, but he will knock you out. He is a thumper. He is a guy that you put him at strong safety, you put Tracy at free safety, you put Will Harris on the bench. That's a good 3 safeties right there. I'm good with that. You get that man as your starting strong safety, play that Cam Chancellor role, that enforcer down in the box. You get Tracy Walker, a dude that can be a good coverage safety, good deep down the field free safety, who can also tackle very well. That's a good safety duo. Then you get a quality starter in the 5th round. That's a good value. There's another guy who I think is a fantastic fielding free safety who I've talked about this with a couple other guys, reminds me of Earl Thomas, and that is Andre Cisco, the safety out of Syracuse. He reminds me a ton of Earl Thomas. So we could get either of those two guys, and I don't think either of them will go particularly high in the draft. I believe the draft network right now, the place where a lot of people do their mock drafts through, has Ford out of Pitt, that one safety that I really like out of Pitt. They have him as like down in the low hundreds. I believe they have Andre Cisco at like the 50th prospect. What's going on? Nothing? All right. I don't like Duron Harmon, man. I'm not a big fan of him. I don't think he tackles particularly well. I don't think he plays coverage particularly well. I don't think he's athletic enough to be a true middle fielding free safety. And I don't think he showed enough to me this year to warrant a decent contract extension. Yes, he has 2 interceptions. One was a dropped pass. The other was floated so high in the air that Duron Harmon could have walked to that ball from center field and still got there. Like, he has 2 interceptions, but neither one to me was really ball hawking, taking it away from the defender, making an incredible play on the football. Both of them were just right place, right time. I guess he timed his jumps correctly, but I don't know. I personally am not a huge fan of Duron. I appreciate what he does. I appreciate his leadership skills. I appreciate what he's got going on. And, I think that I don't know how many safeties right now on the Lions would be better than him other than Tracy Walker. But in saying that, if you're not a great player, you're replaceable. In my eyes, if you're not a great football player, if you're not going to help my team win football games, and if you're not going to be great for my team, you're replaceable. And that's how I feel about Christian Jones. That's how I feel about Duron Harmon. That's how I feel about even Trey Flowers. That's how I feel about a lot of players, to be totally honest. I mean, that's how I feel about Ode Ibushi. That's how I feel about Danny Amendola. That's how I feel about a lot of players on this team. They're solid. They're decent players. They're going to do their job for you. But could you be upgraded over? In Matt Stafford's case, I don't think you're going to get an immediate upgrade over Matt Stafford. In DeAndre Swift's case, I don't think you're going to get an immediate. I don't think you're going to get an immediate um, upgrade. Oh, Jamal, take it. Go, my guy. Oh, that was close. It was a fantastic return. And you're not going to get a much better running back right now than DeAndre Swift. You're not going to get a much better pass protecting back than Kerryon Johnson. You're not going to get a better center than Frank Ragnow. You're not going to get a better left tackle than Taylor Decker. You could find a better left guard than Jonah Jackson, but right now he's a rookie and has a pretty high ceiling or has a pretty high floor and has room to develop still. You're not going to find a much better rookie guard than Jonah Jackson. The other side of the offensive line is replaceable. Big V is very replaceable, especially with that contract. Our right guard has been kind of a revolving door all year, and funnily enough, it hasn't even been particularly poor. So I think you got some good. I think you're not going to get a better wide receiver than Kenny Galladay right now. You are not going to find a much better number 2 than Marvin Jones, although I think you could get pretty similar production out of some other players. I think you definitely can upgrade. So I think even Marvin Jones, as much as I love Marvin, he's a guy that I think could be replaceable. I think, if we were to get Curtis Samuel, Corey Davis, potentially Chris Godwin, I think that would be fantastic. Matt Stafford looking, Marvin Jones wide open for a touchdown. Again, I love Marvin Jones. Man just scored a touchdown for us. But I think his production and I think his ability is replaceable by the Lions. You go over to the defense. Can you replace Trey Flowers with a better pass rusher? I think so. I think Trey Flowers has a limited ceiling, and I think that ceiling is 8 to 10 sacks. I think if you were to draft Gregory Rousseau, who I was talking about earlier, he has a ceiling of 15 to 20 sacks. That's a guy that is good, but can be improved upon. You look at even Romeo Okwara, just had a double-digit sack season. I don't think you're going to get a much better pass rushing partner. He should make that. Oh my goodness, that was close. I love Romeo Okwara, but he's not an elite pass rusher. I think he would be a very good complementary rusher, a very good rotational rusher. But could Romeo Okwara be improved upon? Could we bring in a better pass rusher than him? I think there's definitely a possibility. Could you bring in a better linebacker than Jelani Tavai? Could you bring in a better linebacker than Jamie Collins, than Christian Jones? You absolutely could. Could you bring in a better safety than Daron Harmon? I think you absolutely can. I think that this team right now, to me, has good players, but I think 60% of the roster could be improved upon within the offseason. I think, obviously money and draft picks are all limited, right? But I think if you go into free agency, if you get a quality right guard that can replace Ode Ibushi, right? Or if you feel comfortable with Tyrell Crosby, you put Tyrell Crosby at that right tackle, you kick Big V into guard. He's a stupidly overpaid guard, but he can adjust to that, I guess. So if you want to do that, if you want to go get a guard, if you want to, you have some options on that offensive line, I think, to replace guys and to move guys around. So I don't think you have to necessarily go out and sign a big name guard in free agency. I think the protection all year and the offensive line all year has played fairly solid. You go out, you can get a Corey Davis in free agency potentially. You can get Curtis Samuel in free agency potentially. You can get Chris Godwin potentially in free agency. The list of wide receivers is a long one for this free agent class. Kenny Galladay is one of them. You can go out and re-sign Kenny Galladay. You could bring in Corey Davis to be his running partner. You could sign both of them to decently long-term deals and have both of them locked up for 4-5 years maybe. That's your 1 and 2 wide receiver right there, completely filled out. And then maybe you look at Quintez in the slot. You look at Jamal Agnew as a cheap guy to bring back in you look at Jamal Agnew, a cheap wide receiver / running back to bring back in case of emergency or for some trick plays or just for, some eye candy before the snap. That's a solid top 4 receivers. You might want to bring in a couple more, but you got Geronimo Allison coming back next year who, hopefully won't opt out again. That's a wide receiver you could always bring back, and he could be another good guy, a good rotational player. You go to the defense, you can get some good linebackers. And now that your wide receivers filled out, you don't need to take one high in the draft. Then at that point, you can look at Micah Parsons in your linebacking core to replace Christian Jones. You can look at Andre Sisco in the draft to replace Deron Harmon. You can look at that Ford guy out of Pitt in the later rounds to, get a good thumper kind of strong safety. You could even look Gregory Rousseau in the top of the first round if you want a good top quality defensive, like a top quality pass rusher that, has the incredibly high ceiling. If you don't already get that in free agency, like this team, I think is a good team, but I think there are a lot of players on this team that can be improved upon. And I think that's where this Lions team needs to take the next step. I think this team is a good one, but good players with poor coaching is never going to get it done. Good players with good coaching is going to put you in the playoffs, but you're never going to be a true contender until you get top quality players, until you, take your good players and then upgrade them to great players. That's where great teams come from. That's where Super Bowls come from. So, and I think until the Lions take that next step as a franchise, until they're able to look themselves in the face, look themselves in the mirror, and say, we have good talent, but we need great talent. We need to upgrade every year. We can't be complacent with Deron Harmon's missed tackling. We can't be content with being one of the worst sack production teams in the NFL. The Lions can't be content with good anymore. If they want to be a winning franchise, they need to be a great football team. If they want to be a great football team, they need to bring in great players. And to me, the Lions have very few great players. To me, the Lions have, excuse me, that's nasty. To me, the Lions have Frank Ragnow, who I think is an elite player. They have Kenny Galladay, who, I'm not sure if I would consider him an elite player, but I would consider him an incredibly good player. So I think the Lions right now have an elite center, which is a big part of an NFL team. The Detroit Lions have a top 12, top 10 quarterback. I would not consider elite. To me, elite would be considered top 5. I think that makes the most sense. I think top 5 to me is an elite standard. I think Frank Ragnow is definitely an elite center. But I think that's about it. I think that's the Lions' only elite player. I don't think they have an elite player in the secondary. I don't think they have an elite player at all on the defense. Matt Stafford's top 10 in my opinion, but that's not top 5. Kenny Galladay is definitely top 10 when he's healthy. That's not elite. That's not top 5. I think this team has good players, but I don't think this team has great players. And until we get great players and good coaching, this team's never going to accomplish what they want to accomplish, and they're never going to accomplish what we as the fans wish they could accomplish. And I realized that rant went on for about 3 minutes into the quarter. So we will get back to the football game now. The Detroit Lions are currently winning 23-21, 12-24 left in the quarter. The Vikings are driving. They will likely score here. Justin Jefferson is a monster. They are within the 7-yard line. Motion by number 12. Handoff to 25. Cuts it back. Fighting for extra yards. Down at about the 2. Tackled by Jelani Tavai and others. 3rd and goal. That's cool. So the Lions are currently being drived upon by the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson was a phenomenal pick by the Vikings. I will say, hand off to 25, cuts it back right into the end zone, basically untouched, as the Vikings take a 27-23 lead over our Detroit Lions. First rushing touchdown by Alexander Madison today. Fourth touchdown by this Vikings offense today. Fourth touchdown allowed by this Lions defense. Jelani's got to get there much earlier. But ooh, I almost got blocked, bro. 28 as the extra point is good. John Pennicini pushed that man about 3 yards into the backfield, but it did not amount to anything. Alrighty. Well, there's another score put on our Lions. The Lions are only 1-6 this year at home. If Matt Prater doesn't hit the game-winning field goal, the Lions are 0-7 at home, and they would not have a home victory since week 8 of last season. That is incredible. The Lions are bad at Ford Field. I mean, they're bad in general, but that means they are 4 and 4 on the road. That's better than nothing. They're 500 on the road. They're 1-6 at Ford Field. You can't win. You can't be a winning football team if you can't win at home. I agree. They have, I think, decent talent and they have poor coaching. That's a bad football team. I agree. The Lions are not a good football team right now. I think they have good pieces in place, but I don't think they are a good football team. And I'll 100% agree with you on that. 115%. I think Asante Samuel would be cool too, potentially. I really don't want our players to start turning the ball over, but I kind of am hoping that they stall a little bit. Like maybe a drop pass here and there, maybe, a poor running call here and there. Who's your guys' offensive rookie of the year, Herbert or Justin Jefferson? It's going to be a Justin to win it this year. It just depends on whether it's going to be Herbert or Jefferson. I think that it's a very interesting comment or a very interesting debate to have because obviously very different positions. Both are absolutely excelling at the roles they've been placed in. It's okay, Jamal. You're trying to lose. It's okay if you get tackled. But I think that's an interesting debate. I'd be curious. What do you guys think? If you had a vote, who would you vote for? Dr. Detroit says Herbert. We missed totally. I mean, I get where you're coming from when you say that, but at the same time, it was never realistic for the Lions to get Justin Jefferson. That was never a realistic possibility. So I'm not gonna dwell on it too much because at the end of the day, you could have told the Lions exactly what Herbert was going to accomplish in his rookie season. They would not have taken him. Imagine having that kid in Stafford's wings. I agree. If we had Herbert, I would be ecstatic. If I knew what Herbert was going to be and we drafted him to sit behind Stafford for a year And knowing how good he is as a rookie with a year to sit and develop, he would be a monster, even more so than he is now. Um, no, I agree. I mean, we've had this conversation so many times it's getting old, but people are like, we need to resign Kenny. Why? We move the ball just fine. The real issue is we need a successor for Matt. I mean, but look at how much better this team is with Kenny Galladay. Yeah, we move the ball okay without him. When DeAndre Swift is having a good day, we move the ball all right without him. But Kenny Galladay makes this offense better. And if you are as a wide receiver, a player that makes an offense better with you being on it, that's worth being re-signed for. And you can't just say bring in a kid under Matt Stafford, but don't give him any weapons. Right? You can't say bring in the next quarterback to be groomed, but then he walks in with no wide receivers to throw to. Like you even said, Dr. Trey, you got to build the team around him. And part of building a good team is getting great weapons. And Kenny Galladay is a great weapon. And I mean, I agree we need to focus on the defense of the successor. I'm not saying you're wrong on that, but I do think the Lions have the money to re-sign Kenny Galladay and still go out to get a couple good acquisitions on defense, and then go out and have a decent draft. Not $18 million a year. No, I don't. Oh, what even happened? That was a weird throw. Um, I mean, $18 million a year, I'm not sold on, but I'm thinking if you can get a long term extension that's not quite that much money, if you can get a situation where they're happy, both sides are happy, I think, you got to at least try to re-sign him. You can get a wide receiver down, a dozen in the draft. Yeah, but just because you can get a good wide receiver doesn't mean you can get a great wide receiver. Marvin Jones like stopped on that route. Um, um, but like, yeah, you can get a good wide receiver, but you're not gonna find Kenny Galladay in the draft. I mean, very rarely do you get a wide receiver in the third round that is gonna that's going to develop into a wide receiver that makes your team as much. Oh, you got to call it that. Like you got to resign Kenny Galladay. I mean, I'm not saying $18 million a year is a good contract for a wide receiver, but I mean, you're not going to get any better weapons than Kenny Galladay. Stafford, yeah, I saw that. Deron Harmon should have had one right back, but didn't because Deron Harmon is not good. We should sign that cornerback. That was Harrison Smith. That was actually a safety. And that's one of the best safeties in the NFL that is going to be on the Vikings for quite a while. I believe he actually just got a contract extension not too long ago. But yeah, I mean, if we got Harrison Smith, that'd be sick. But we're not gonna get him. We're not going to get him. That's cool. I mean, cool touchdown. Like, oh, a solid hit. Uh, but I mean, we're looking to lose, so one way or the other, I'm not super upset. I'm upset that Stafford threw the interception, of course, but I'm not upset that we're losing. I'm not upset that our defense is trash. I mean, not right now, I'm not. So let's see what comes of it. Bro, my man Kirk Cousins straight up ran read option and looked like freaking Michael Vick out here. Oof. Bro, Julian got his ankles taken. So did Jalen, Reeves, and Maven. It's not a fantastic scenario to be in. When Kirk Cousins is taking ankles, you know something's wrong. Like when Kirk Cousins by himself takes your ankles, that's not good. But the Falcons are coming back. Austin, get him. Go get him, Austin. Get the man. How is it not intentional grounding, bro? If it is the back wall, isn't that quite obviously an intentional grounding call? Like, I'm just curious. Am I incorrect in thinking that? Like, if you're a quarterback, right, and you throw it and it goes into the stands, is that not like quite obviously you intentionally throwing the ball away? I don't know. Something to think about. All right, well, Lions down 31-23. It's an 8-point game. Still one score, technically, but it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. We'll get some things going. We'll get it together. Probably not. But again, today is a good day. It's a win win kind of a day. Detroit Lions either win to end the season, and we get that satisfaction for the entirety of the offseason that the last time we saw our Lions play, it was a victory. Or we lose, we live with that depression, and we get a higher pick. So that way, come April, we get to pick higher. We get better draft players. Supposedly, hypothetically, we get better draft players. So it's a win-win today. I am not stressing. The Lions will not ruin my day today. I'm excited for what is to come in the future. A lot of different content should be coming in the near future, so that should be fun. We'll of course know the Detroit Lions draft order. We'll know their draft selections and their draft picks by Monday, I would assume. I think by Monday. I think that's when the NFL week ends, which is weird. It starts on a Thursday, but yeah. So I mean, by Monday night, we'll know exactly where the Detroit Lions sit as far as the standings. We'll know exactly what pick the Lions sit at, and from that point on, we can go into draft prospects and free agents and coaches and coordinators in the future, and we'll have just a fantastic time. It might be a little sad when we recap the season. However, it should be a fun couple of months as we look to the future, and I'm excited for it. I'm incredibly, incredibly excited. So, on Vikings to 3 Super Bowl appearances, but 0 Super Bowl victories. Ha 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 ha. Frank Tarkenton. You're supposed to win the Super Bowl, not get to the Super Bowl.
31-23, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings settled in for a field goal after Harrison Smith interception. So 2 turnovers today.
Ugh. Jamal, just take it, buddy. It's the game is the season is over. So we need the Eagles, the Bengals, the Falcons, and the Texans to all win, and us to lose, and we'll jump up to the number 3 selection. Shut up. Yeah, players are not going to tank. That's just how it goes. The Lions, actually, no player in the NFL should ever tank, because if you're a player and you're okay with tanking, you better not be on my team.
plan for the future, give a guy a year or two to learn under Matt Stafford, especially with this draft class, where
Yes.
there are so many potentially good NFL quarterbacks.
Yep.
Do you do that?
You know what's funny though is there's a lot of guys in the later rounds that I actually really like.
Certainly not with that first pick.
I don't think we go quarterback first round, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kyle Trask or Mac Jones. Stafford. Oh,
Harrison hand on the coverage right there. Cephas definitely had a step on his former Badger, gets behind him.
that could have been touchdown too for Cephas.
Just a little bit too much on
Skirt.
that. Gave Cephas just a little bit too much credit on his speed. A little bit high, a little bit to the outside.
Hey, Quintez only runs a 4.7, Stafford.
Stafford had an opportunity to drop that one in on Cephas. He has a touchdown today. They're down in 5 for Detroit, down 8 through this third quarter. Vikings showing pressure and bring it back. Stafford for Gameday.
Good throw.
Catch of the day moves the chains.
Great throw. Great catch. A little bit of a horse collar-y, head face masky kind of a tackle, but it doesn't matter because it's a first down. Detroit.
Understanding the down and distance. You see him coming out of the slot right here. Harrison Smith, smart player. He's trying to protect the yard marker right there. Amendola knows exactly where to get. Nice shot by Stafford, placing it here. Victor Peterson.
Bomb it, Staff.
To the sideline.
Oh, you got to catch that, Muhammad.
Right to his fingertips.
Oh, that's an ACL.
Lynch is ready to receive.
It's not good. It's a knee injury.
And one of those rookies as well.
You got to catch that.
Stopping that run.
Oh,
Quite understanding. Didn't quite know where.
yeah, your knee's not supposed to bend like that.
Cornerback right there. You turn that head back. You've got to get a hand back extended to the receiver.
I still wish he would have caught it because it was a good throw, but
His first career interception
oh,
a week ago.
that sucks, man.
Please, no less. It's his first career start this week. Run on the second down.
Peterson, don't do that.
A nice job by Harrison Hand right there. We talked about this earlier. Whether you're blocking or whether you're tackling, don't look at the shoulders. Don't look at the helmet. Watch the hips. Adrian Peterson tried to get a little bit of a shake right there with his helmet. The hand wasn't having any of it. Don't look at the arms either. That's Adrian Peterson running the ball. You notice that to get out of the way. He's definitely jacked up there. People talk about that famous handshake. Try and break a few of your fingers.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm pretty sure Adrian Peterson could just run straight through you, or use that hand to put you strictly on the ground. Good throw. Good throw and a good catch. Stafford to Cephas, that's 200 plus yards. That's 4,000 on the year for Stafford. Another good throw. This is a good route.
Move to the inside. David lets him go. And Anthony Harris just not able to get there in time.
It's a good route. Cephas, I think, gets separation better than a lot of our other wide receivers. Moving forward. That's fun. Whew, alrighty.
Criticism that Anthony Harris was taking his performance in that Saints game. Guys aren't having it. They don't want to hear it. They want to do that 2 weeks in a row. Coming up, take a nice stop.
Danny Amendola. Oh, that was a very well executed screen pass. Good stuff.
Nice play call here. Well timed with the screen. See Swift had the blitz on right there. Just as an offensive coordinator, Darrell Bevel right there. Again, it's not just the calls you make, but it's the timing of those calls and understanding in that situation what are you likely to see from the defense. Expecting the blitz. That blitzer would have had DeAndre Swift is able to get out, catch that one, gets two gains,
So I just noticed this. Where in the world is Big V? Because he's active. He's active today, but he's not playing. You're paying a guy $50 million to sit on the bench. That is some SOL stuff right there. Adrian Peterson with the touchdown run. That was a tough run by a tough run by all day AP, ADAP, all day Adrian Peterson. Not bad.
and he knows who to give that ball to. Gives it to Gameday. You see the block right there, Gameday on Wilson. But then it's just the leg drive and the effort, the tenacity of Adrian Peterson. I don't care how old that guy is. He can still do it. So, hey, man, you keep blocking like that, I'll give you another one of those. So you're going for two. You're trying to tie the game up. 3 minutes left.
Will they get it?
Swift comes in for Peterson.
Play a little back shoulder to Sanu, maybe?
But incomplete. And the Vikings hang on to the 2-point lead.
It's all right.
Adrian Peterson into the end zone, and it's 31-29.
I don't know. Would you like to see Adrian Peterson back in Detroit next year? I think that could be a very interesting thing for them. I think if you're looking at veteran running backs and you want leadership in your building, I think Adrian Peterson could be a decent option to come back. Obviously, he doesn't want to be here for a full rebuild, but I don't think this team needs a full rebuild. I don't think the Lions are going to go for a complete full rebuild, at least right away. They might be preparing for one with a young quarterback, but I mean, I think they can win now with Stafford. They can win now with a lot of people. So I don't know. I think it'll be very interesting. They're in an odd situation. Lions game got me tired, bro. This Lions game got me yawning. Yawning. Alrighty. What, 3 minutes and 2 seconds left in the quarter? Not bad. Oh, let's see. Any news? Bradley Chubb's not playing today. Arizona's Larry Fitzgerald is not playing today. um, I just kind of stopped talking for a bit. I don't know what to talk about. The Lions are bad. The Lions suck. They don't have a coach. They're missing a lot of big key pieces and players. Like, it's just we're rooting for our team to lose, which is a sucky feeling. Lions are down by 2, giving the ball back to Minnesota. That's definitely what we want. Adrian Peterson's fantastic, but he didn't do any of that with the Lions. He might have got to some of those milestones, but three-time rushing champ, 2012 MVP, fourth or fifth all-time in rushing yards, fourth in rushing touchdowns. I mean, Adrian Peterson is a gosh darn Adrian Peterson. The man is just a machine. He's not a man. He's a machine. Tracy, don't get some stupid penalty for flipping a dude late. That's just dumb.
Rebuilds will be interesting to see what the Lions do this offseason. You don't blame him. It's 13th season.
Yeah, I mean, Adrian Peterson at this point, if I were him, I would chase a ring. I would go to whatever team I thought gave me the best chance to get a Super Bowl ring. If that's Kansas City, that's Kansas City. If that's Seattle, that's where he goes. Like, I can't fault the man for looking for his Super Bowl ring. Clinch playoff berth. Bro, tell me why everybody in the NFC East can win the division with like 6 wins. What is that? What is that, bro? Does Jelani have 2 forced fumbles? I feel like he does. Did they give him credit for both of those? I don't know. We'll check later. Full box score. I'm pretty sure Jelani has at least 2 forced fumbles. Yeah, they fumbled a lot, man. We'll go back and look over it at the end, I'm sure. Bam, Cousins drops. That definitely hit the ground. It's probably PI, but it definitely hit the ground.
Justin Jefferson there as he made the turn. That's going to be the call.
Woo.
It's a flag or one of Jefferson's shoes.
Pass interference. Defense number 24. What's at the spot of the foul? Automatic first down. Urban Meyer to Jacksonville. Yeah, I saw that. That will be an interesting. That'll be an interesting hire for them. I kind of liked him as our guy, but obviously, as I mentioned in the one video, Jacksonville is a much better situation, especially if he's being handed the keys to the car. Like, bro, you gotta catch that. You gotta catch that. But if Urban Meyer's being handed the keys to the car to build his team, Jacksonville's the place that you want to go because they have all the cap, all the picks, couple nice pieces. Like they got a nice situation out there in Florida. Gotta catch that.
Just too easy. That's right. Too easy for him.
Send JD again. Bro, tell me why Jelani and JD have been blitzing like madmen today. Should somebody tell Justin Coleman that blitzing doesn't work if you play 20 yards off?
Justin Jefferson did just enough to drive upfield on this one. When we talk about a young wide receiver having the skill of a veteran, he drives Coleman, makes him think
It's all right.
and then cuts to the outside. Maybe he needs to swap out one of the shoes and get a red one with Anquan Bolding's like this on it as he passes in for the most yards by a rookie. not trying to give up that loop like Kamara had to give up for having that. For having the red green shoes.
Alrighty.
Madison again. First down. Bringing this third quarter to a close for the Vikings 31. The Lions 29. It's been an entertaining game. This team's averaging close to 9 yards per play to the fourth in Detroit. Of the third quarter. Shout out to the inventors. Not the ones living in the annals.
Oh well, at least we'll be getting a decent pick, I guess. I suppose. But Urban Meyer of the Jags is big. I mean, he getting back to what Dr. Trick commented on. That's going to be big. And I don't know if the Jags are even going to get a new general manager. I don't know if they have a general manager. I don't think they don't. They can't because they've been interviewing some other people. So they don't have a general manager, but at this point, I would almost be surprised if they hire somebody else because Urban Meyer, I would assume, is getting everything. I would assume he's going to be the coach slash general manager. So he's going to make all the decisions. He's going to pick who to draft. He's going to pick who to sign as a free agent. He's going to pick how to run his team. He's getting the keys to the car. Like he is going to be that team's everything. I mean, if he can be a good general manager and we know he can be a good head coach, then the Jaguars are going to be very successful in the near future. You know, you look at I mean, it's just I know he's a good coach. If you're going to be the coach and the GM, that gives you about as much power as you had as a college head coach as far as who you can bring in, who your guys are. So I think Urban Meyer is going to be a very good head coach in Jacksonville. The Jacksonville Jaguars will be very successful in the near future. And I would not be surprised if, with Urban Meyer, if they contend for playoff relevancy next year. I think coaching makes all the difference. You could have a bad roster, but with great coaching, you can look like a good team. I think coaching is 80%. If you have a good coach, I think coaching is 80% and the talent on your roster is 20%. I truly think coaching has that large of an impact where if you have good players and horrible coaching like the Lions had or like the Lions have, you're going to go 5-11. If you have decent talent and a great head coach, you look at the Los Angeles Rams when Sean McVay got there his first season. But if you look at a bad roster with a great head coach like Urban Meyer is to the Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean, you're going to see some success. Urban Meyer is a very, very good game planner. Urban Meyer is a good coach. If you can get a good coach in the building, then you're going to be very successful regardless of who you have. And if that coach happens to also be your general manager, that's just an extra bonus. So, I mean, I think the Jaguars will be successful. I think in football and in sports in general, coaching is 80% of a team. Your players are 20%. Your players have a huge role in it. Your players can make or break your season, but you're never going to be successful with a bad head coach. You can be successful with average players if you're a great coach. You can't be successful with good players if you're a bad coach. That's how I look at it. And that's why I don't believe the Lions need a full rebuild as much as they need a good coach. But obviously that coach will not be Urban Meyer. Obviously that coach is not going to be the Ohio State man. That's okay. I mean, I don't think we needed a guy like Meyer, but I definitely think he would have helped. He definitely would have been top of my list. So that's unfortunate to see. That's super, super unfortunate. But it is, it's how the cards fall sometimes. It's how the cards fall. And generally, well, then I'm pretty sure Urban Meyer has a burning hatred for Michigan in general. So I think getting him to come here would have been would have been really strange for him. Not that I hated Urban Meyer or even that I hate Ohio State, but that was such a high tackle by Duran. But I do think Jacksonville will be a fun team to watch if they get Trevor, if they get some other good pieces around him, if they go big in free agency, if obviously Urban Meyer can transition like I expect him to, it it could be a fun year in Jacksonville next year. Jacksonville fans might have something to cheer for. Jacksonville fans might have something to look forward to next season. And I think Lions fans do too if they get the right coach. Stafford hit 45,000 career passing yards today. Very cool. Very cool. Lions need someone who is bigger than they are. What do you mean by that, Frank? The Lions need somebody who is bigger. What do you mean by bigger? Like, I guess I don't understand what you're saying by that. And the Lions make a stand on the goal line. Bring up third and goal. Not horrible. I really like Kevin Strong. Yeah, Frank, I don't know what you mean by somebody that's bigger than they are. But I don't know. I think it could be interesting. But I've talked about it before. I mean, I think this team has decent talent, decent pieces in place. Oh, good stand. Wow. Urban Meyer is a brand name that is bigger than the Lions. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I mean, I don't I don't know. I don't think the namesake matters as much as the ability to coach. Yeah, no, Frank, I agree. Yeah, when you think Urban Meyer, you think winner, right? Because that's all he does. That's all he's ever done is win. I don't disagree with that, but I don't know if the name value matters. Ooh, Tracy got another sack. I'm sure they're going to call something back on the Lions, but I don't know if the namesake and the value of the name. I don't know if a big name coach would be better for the Lions just to be the big name coach. Roughing the passer. Excuse me? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You said that's roughing the passer? Bro, you're joking. You're kidding. Players would respect him right off the start. I mean, I think if you're a good coach, you can earn your respect very quickly. I don't think it has to be a big name guy that everybody knows of. And I mean, if you look at Robert Sala, he's going to come in and have respect, right? If you look at even PJ Fleck, he's going to come in and he's going to have respect because of what he's done. Bruh.
I just didn't see anything additional. There's no punishing act here. To me, this just looks like a tackle, and that's a foul.
That's the worst roughing the passer call I've ever seen, bro.
I understand that you don't want a defender driving their weight down into a player, but if anything, it looks like Tracy Walker actually tries to rotate his body so that he doesn't land his weight on Kirk. It just seemed like a bad call.
Yeah, it's just his momentum that's carried him over.
That's horrible. They need to change that rule. Like now. Yeah, gifted is not a strong enough term. Look, I'm old. I feel you. Bro, Daryl Bevel can't believe what he's just seen. That's the worst roughing the passer call I've ever seen. You ever play in the NFL, you better not even think about touching the quarterback because that's a penalty. Bro, that's such a big play. Tracy Walker's having a very good day today, I will say. Oh my God, Tracy got there. If you're to throw, dude, Jared Davis, man. Jared Davis got that penetration. Wow. Bro, that's 5 stops on the goal line by this Lions defense in a row. And I know that they're going to score here because I already see it on the scoreboard. Bro, it took them 6 attempts to get into the end zone. That's, oh my God. They were gifted that opportunity. Why in that graphic does Kirk Cousins look like he's 57? Oh my God. The refs, man. The referees, I can only imagine. Only the Lions, man. For being a young guy and not a good handle on football. Oh, for being a young guy, you got a good handle on football. Good luck with your channel. Hey, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the kind words. I like to think I know quite a bit. I like to think I know what I'm talking about, but some people don't always agree with me. Some people don't always think that. So I appreciate it. Appreciate the good luck wishes. And I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be trying, be doing my best. So we'll get there. I'll get there one day, hopefully. I can't believe that, man. That's so dumb. Not that I want the Lions to get that stop, but when they make a stop on 4th down and they have a young safety make a phenomenal play, yeah, how are you gonna call that back, man? What is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to do in that situation? And I guess is my question. I would love the NFL to come out and say how he could have done that any better. I would love to see somebody come out and show me what Tracy Walker could have done differently. Like, it's just, It's frustrating. It is. It is frustrating, but oh, still a one-score game because I'm very certain the Vikings are trying to tank the season. I'm very convinced the Vikings are trying to lose this game, but whatever. Does Stafford have he has 3 touchdowns? He'll probably get like he'll probably get at least one more if I'd have to guess. Man, I want to be at Ford Field so badly. I want to go back to another game. I went to the Chiefs game last year. That was fun. I want to be at that game. I want to be at Ford Field, man. I wish I could be. But pandemics and that. Pandemics and that. Let's see. Agday's just going to let it pop right on past him for the touchback, and Stafford will take the field. Look at the Lions winning. Couldn't imagine. I mean, geez, the Vikings really lead 77-39 all time. That's wild, man. That's crazy. Is that true? Uncork at Stafford. Let's see. I would assume holding. I would assume holding of some kind. Offense. Who's it on though? You don't want to tell us because it didn't happen. Oh, Jonah's out too? Bro, tell me how you're going to start this man from the practice squad over Logan Stenberg. Like, I'm so not convinced that Logan Stenberg is actually hurt. I'm very much convinced that. Why does Marvin Jones always go off at home versus the Vikings? It always happens, man. Like, how are you gonna play that guy over Logan Stenberg of all people? At least Logan Stenberg has a ton of upside, bro. What does this 62 Brown guy give you? Like, what does Brown give you as a coaching staff? You know what I mean? Let's see it, DeAndre. Bam, right through the hole. Good sprint, good power, pushing right up to the 49. Good stuff. Funnily enough, our offensive line is good even with injuries. Come on, boys. Beat him, Swift. Good stuff. Stay on your feet. Big man run. DeAndre is so good. I'm hoping. I want to see Hawkinson get involved, man. I feel like I haven't seen Hawkinson have a big play in a while.
All the way up to the ball carrier before you try and wrap those arms. Anthony Harris just pulled the trigger a little bit too soon. Ended up extending. Swift did a nice job pushing him away. Actually got a good spot there. Instead of getting 6, they gave him 8, so 2nd and 2.
Hawkinson only has 3 for 25, man. Come on, Lions. Get Hawkinson involved. Get him some deep passes down the field. It would be sick. The Falcons are kind of coming back a little bit. Wouldn't that be ironic? The Falcons come back against Tom Brady for a change? Question mark? Might happen. Might.
So good job by Detroit. Early in downs to be in a 3rd and short situation. They don't have to throw the football.
But they're going to throw the football.
It's incomplete out of the hands of Jones. How about that 3rd and less than 1?
That's a poor coaching decision. Just go for it.
Well, the only reason you make that call is because you know you're going to go for it on 4th down. Maybe something opens up down the field. Nice coverage there by Todd Davis getting that hand in. Still working to pull that thing out.
You know, Stafford wants to win. Just run the ball, man. DeAndre Swift will get you this. Good stuff. Good run by AP.
Sometimes defenders get a little bit aggressive on the outside of the formation. That's what you're going to see right here. Shows Anthony Harris in there.
Adrian Pearson says, yeah, you a rookie. I'm a veteran. Get out of my way. First down. Well, it doesn't seem as though the Bengals are going to win today, guys. That's not fun. The Giants very well could win, but they are sitting behind they're sitting behind us anyway, so I'm not super sure how much that one matters. What a throw and what a catch. Marvin Jones only goes off against Minnesota. What a celebration. I'm going to hit the pose. Strike a pose, he says. What a throw by Staff.
Matthew Stafford had the perfect trajectory on that football.
What a throw. And what a catch. And that, Dr. Detroit, is why I love myself some Matthew Stafford. What?
The previous play is under review.
What do you mean, bro?
So we're going to take a look at this to see if Jones lost the handle on the way.
What? It never even touches the ground. That's a touchdown. That's a straight touchdown.
We could show these. We don't bake.
Bro, like, that's a touchdown. That ball comes loose, but it never touches the ground. So I can't see any way they would overturn it. What are y'all thinking? Touchdown? Callback? What are we thinking the call is? Because I'm pretty certain that is a touchdown. I'm pretty positive when I say that never touches the ground. And I don't mind them going back and looking at it or whatever they're trying to do. I mean, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to take points away from our Lions, but I get that they're going to call it back because they saw a little bit of movement, but he caught that 125,000%. Marvin Jones caught that. So I'm not concerned. Cloudy, there's nobody at the door. I promise, buddy. Bro, like, imagine if they take this away. Imagine. Buddy, come on, stop. You don't listen. J-Mo was a funny guy. J-Mo was an incredibly funny human being. Where's my doggo? Come here. Come here. You just want to say hi to people, don't you? I know you do. Oh, you just want to say hi. No, not a fan? All right. Well, why don't you quit barking? There's just people. No. They are allowed to be outside. Oh, if they take this away, man, there's no way. Bro, what? Explain to me where it touches the ground. That's so BS.
I don't agree with that on 2 counts. And Dean, I mean, it looks like the ball hits the elbow. And if they're saying he didn't control it to the ground, it's one thing. If they're saying that it hits right here, that's something completely different. But it looks like the ball bounces off of the inside of his elbow.
That ball never once hit the ground.
And then he has control of it when it's on the ground.
That's the key. Did the ball touch the ground? That's what we were looking at.
It didn't.
The ball does come loose when Jones hits the ground, but it's still a catch if it doesn't touch the ground. I just didn't see, I'm like you, I didn't see anything clear to see the ball touch the ground. Obviously, they felt it.
That's two big calls against the Lions today.
I've ever had in my life. The Dean interpretation said, I'm like you. Oh, that's the best. No, I mean, seriously though, it just doesn't look like.
Kidding?
It doesn't look like the. I mean, and people see the ball bounce back up, and they think, okay, it must have been the ground that caused
It hit his elbow.
inside the elbow. Another thing that I'm amazed by is how many times there's some sort of hole or something in the way of the shot that keeps you from getting the perfect angle sometimes. But it looked like it hit his elbow to me.
And because of that, the fact that we're guessing that it hit the ground, you can't actually see, you're not supposed to be able to overturn it.
The call on the field is assumed to be correct. And again, what he said in explaining it was bizarre to me. It's saying that he didn't control it to the ground, not saying that the ball hit the ground during the attempted catch.
That's so stupid. That's the dumbest thing, bro. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, bro? Not for 1 second does that ball touch the ground.
It's one thing to get blocked or to have a block around you. It's another thing to fight through that block. That's why emotion and intensity is so important.
I can't even, bro. The game doesn't matter. We're trying to lose. But if the Lions make the play, don't take it away from them. Let Stafford pad his stats, bro. Let the Lions have some fun. Bro, tell me you didn't catch that one. I dare you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't even have words for that. Are you kidding? I'm pretty sure if I ask any Minnesota fan, they'll tell me that's a catch. All right, Marv, go back into the end zone. Stafford, throw another dot because I know you can throw them. Stafford's looking fast. He's looking agile today, boys. Bro, the Lions get away with a hold that's criminal. Shut up, bro. There's no hold there, bro. Oh, I guess actually I take that back. Taylor Decker definitely held. You know what's wrong with that though? Who cares? The refs took away a 4th down stop and a touchdown from the Lions, and you're really gonna complain about a hold? That was a poor pass by Stafford. That was a bad throw. If Stafford floats that a little bit more, I think that's a touchdown. I'm not gonna lie, that was that was a phenomenal play. I mean, I didn't think he was gonna get up, but let's see what happens. DeAndre, I'm just kidding, Marvin Jones. Bro, tell me he didn't survive that one to the ground. That ball hit the ground more than the other one did. I'm super upset, bro. Hand it to DeAndre. Let the man work. That definitely crossed. That definitely crossed. He poked that ball out at the end. I do think he got it, unless his knee was down before he stretched, but he definitely stretched it over the line. Oh, he definitely got that. He definitely got that. Good stuff. Yeah, he pokes it out right at the end, and DeAndre looks right at the official. They keep shifting some guards around, strangely. All right, second try. I mean, there's a little bit of a penalty there, but I really hope Marvin Jones stays, but I don't think he will. I wonder if that was the game plan today. Daryl Bevel was like, we're trying to keep Marvin Jones. So, Stafford, you're going to throw him the ball. You are going to give this man the ball as much as humanly possible. And if we did that, I mean, Marvin Jones would have some 200 receiving yards already on the game and 3 touchdowns. All he does is ball against the Vikings. That's all he does. It's so crazy. It's funny because like Marvin Jones is a great wide receiver, but I swear he gets like 15% of his production versus the Vikings alone. Well, he had a lot of yards and 4 touchdowns last year versus the Vikings. He should have 3 this year. Only has 2. I'm gonna miss Marvin, man. I'm really, really going to miss Marvin Jones. That's the worst I've ever seen. Hold on. Do you mind, Shadow? Do you mind? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Tracy Walker did not have a roughing the passer call. Marvin Jones did have a touchdown catch. I I don't know, man. I don't understand it. I wonder how much of that is a player. Like, if you're Stafford, how much are you like, I really want to give this ball to Marvin Jones because he deserves it? Obviously, they handed it to DeAndre Swift, but somebody tweeted out Marvin Jones touchdown catches under review for the possible roughing of Kirk Cousins. Oh my goodness, bro. It just I really want Philadelphia to win tonight. It's just not a good situation. Why do the Lions offense like they I mean they have a good offense, obviously. They're putting up decent points today, but like why today of all days do the Lions feel the need to be good? Shadow, enough. Stop chewing your paws, bro. Oh, let's see. The Giants just scored again. Fun day for offense. Not a fun day for the referees screwing the Lions over. Fun day for offense, whatever. It's not a fun day for Lions fans because even in a game that doesn't matter, the refs like to cheat us. Cloudy. I know. I'm upset too, buddy. I get it. I'm upset. Lions just can't get away from these darn refs. I know. I know it. Okay, never mind. The Falcons aren't coming back. Not anymore, at least. Ooh, brownies. Bills just thumped Miami. The Bengals are getting thumped. I don't think the Lions are going to drop very far. They might. Hopefully, the Eagles. Oh, that's good. Tracy Walker has 13 tackles. He should have 14 with another sack, but BC Johnson. Oh my god. Well, the Giants are winning at least. I guess that's a positive. The Falcons are not winning. My man just yanked on Austin Bryant's neck pad. Get him, Jelani. Force it. Oh, he was punching at it. So I don't think Atlanta's going to win unless they score like right now. I hope Denver wins, but I don't know if Denver sits in front of us or behind us. I think they sit behind us because I haven't seen a lot from Denver recently. I know Carolina sits in front of us, so I really hope they win today. And then obviously the Philly. I hope Philly wins again as well. Jefferson is a good player. I will say that Justin Jefferson is a player I will never ever look forward to playing against. And you know what's crazy? He's breaking all these records. He didn't even really start or get significant playing time until week 4. He could have shattered records this year, but obviously he still broke them. Because the Lions suck on defense, they don't have a good defensive scheme. They don't have a good defensive coach. all their good defensive players are injured or they're just not being put in good positions. I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But I digress. Good tackle by Everson and Jared. See, people call them by their last names. I call them by their first names because we're close like that. Bro, why are you calling timeouts, bro? I guess because it's 2 points away. And for whatever reason, the Lions actually want to win this game. And for some reason, I get the feeling they're gonna win this game. I get the feeling the Vikings are gonna kick a field goal. Stafford with 1 minute down with like a minute 20 is gonna drive down the field and he's gonna somehow find some crazy way to beat the Minnesota Vikings. I have a feeling. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you where it comes from. If I told you what was happening on the field right now, I wouldn't believe it based on what I'm watching. But I just have this feeling that they're going to kick a field goal and Stafford's going to find his voodoo magic. He's going to just pull it out of his bag and he's going to find a way to go win this football game for us. That's a stop by Will Harris. Will Harris played a good game today. That's not bad at all by Will. So Will Harris, I've seen Will Harris make 3 or 4 good plays today. Why do I like Will Harris all of a sudden? Why am I all of a sudden a Will Harris fan? I mean, I've always been a fan, right? Because he's a Lion player. I'm always going to root and, cheer for Lions players. So I've always wanted him to be good. But why all of a sudden is Will Harris like being decent? Is it truly, did Matt Patricia really have that? I mean, he's not been great, obviously. He doesn't have like an interception or anything, but is he that? Was Patricia that bad? Where he made Will Harris go from an average safety to a horrid safety? Like a disgustingly bad player? And all of a sudden he leaves, and because of injuries and because of the circumstance, they're all of a sudden, I like the Dance Everson. But like all of a sudden, like Will Harris, for the first time in many, many months, is getting an expanded role in the defense. And he made a couple of plays. Was Matt Patricia that bad? Was he that poor of a coach? I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but I do think it's an interesting thing to think about. I do think it's an interesting thing to think about. Let's see, 4th and inches. What could we do? Let's see. Can Tracy get a sack without roughing the passer this time? I mean, I thought Will Harris and Jelani Tavai, guys that get a lot of criticism, had a good game. Get there, get there, get there. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. There was good penetration there, too.
Excellent play call here. You go with that heavier personnel. Everybody stacks inside the box. You can see Herb Smith getting a good block on the outside. Alexander Madison able to get to the edge, get the first down. Brings us to the 2-minute warning. Gilly and the Vikings.
Well, that might be the game for Detroit. I mean, the Vikings have to get one more first down, but it seems pretty likely that the Lions will finish the NFL regular season with a 5-11 record, which is, I mean, it's unfortunate, of course, but I think it's the best outcome that could have came from today. As sad as that is to say out loud, I do think that is probably the best outcome that we could have had is we lose this game. It was a competitive one. It was a close one. It was a fun one. Matt Stafford hit 45,000 passing yards, excuse me. I mean, DeAndre Swift is having a decent day. I can't complain. Like, I can't deny the fight that was shown. I can't deny that Matt Stafford is incredibly good at his job. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it is what it is. Lions got a 99% chance of losing this game. 99.9, in fact. Oh, I just saw Dr. Detroit. What will our pick be? It depends on how the rest of the NFL does, because currently we sit at 7. If we lose this game and nothing else changes, if everybody behind us, or I guess in front of us in the draft order, loses, the worst we can sit is 7. If we lose this game, the worst we can be at is the 7th overall pick. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals lost because the best we could have been by the end of the day is the 3rd pick. Cincinnati lost, which makes it the best we can be is the 4th pick. Hold on, I clicked on the wrong thing. So as far as that game's over. That game they lost. I gotta find a way to go back to what I was trying to actually do. So the Vikings take a knee. So the game is over. The Lions lost. The Lions, as I know, sit at the 6th pick. And if we go through the games that mattered for Detroit, if New York's behind us, so they don't matter. If Atlanta had won, that would have been good, but Atlanta did not win. So that puts us at best at the 5th pick. If Houston wins, then we could move down. So that's still a potential. That's still a possibility. And then if the Eagles win, wherever the Eagles are, if the Eagles win, we could move down one more. So right now, the best we can hope for is the 5th overall pick. And that's if the Philadelphia Eagles lose. Oh, and the Carolina Panthers. So the Panthers, the Eagles, and the Texans are the 3 teams we're rooting for. So that puts us 3, 4, 5. The 5th pick, I think. I believe we can get top 5 still. I think that's how that works. I believe right now the best we can get is 5, but the worst we can get is 7. And the odds of these things happening, I mean, I wouldn't give the Texans a great shot of beating Tennessee, but they played them close last time, so it's always a possibility. I know New Orleans is benching pretty much everyone, but Sean Payton's one of the best coaches in the league, and I think his game planning and his scheming is going to put up 21 regardless. And then I think Washington's a very good football team. So if I had to guess, we're going to be picking at 7. But as I said, there's that potential that if those 3 teams do lose, we could move up to the 5th pick in the NFL draft. So that's where we stand right now as the Lions organization. We're looking for a top 5 draft pick. I think we could still get, even at 7, I think we could still have a lot of good players left. Actually, we could watch the end of this Giants game, but I'll go over this. I'll go over the stats. I'll go over the box score and all of that. I mean, the Detroit Lions defense did not play particularly well. 405 passing yards by Kirk, 3 touchdowns. Not a great day by our defense. Stafford, 21 of 31, 293, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Should have been 4 touchdowns. They stole that one from Marvin, which is super unfortunate. I mean, that was the easiest touchdown you could have ever called. The Lions did get 3 sacks, though. I just saw that and just remembered. They did get 3 sacks all in the first half. They should have had 4. Tracy should have had another one. That one touchdown should not have counted. So the Lions, realistically, I thought were the better football team. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of happy that we lost because, draft status is very cool nowadays. The Lions didn't stop the run particularly well. Didn't have a 100-yard rusher, but did allow 125 and 2 as a team. The Detroit Lions I thought they had a very good rushing day. Wayne Gallman just fumbled the football in the open field. Oh my God. Wayne Gallman broke free for an open touchdown and fumbled the ball as he looked behind him. That's incredible. The Lions had a decent rushing attack. AP 7 for 63. DeAndre Swift 12 for 54. Both of them had a touchdown. Stafford had 2 scrambles for 9 yards. I believe both had picking up a first down. Mohamed Sanu had 1 wildcat where he, took the ball for a 3-yard gain. It wasn't anything crazy. Marvin Jones, as a receiver, did phenomenally. Marvin Jones, 8 receptions, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cephas had a touchdown. I mean, it wasn't a great day. Jelani had 2 forced fumbles, which was nice. I don't know who had the sacks. Tracy had 1, Kevin had 1, and Romeo had 1 to get his 10th on the season. But with that being the case, that's all we got time for today. That was our Detroit Lions game day stream. That was the Detroit Lions season finale. That's exactly how we are going to end this year's NFL season, with a loss to our division rivals. Time to move on to the future. Moving into the next couple of weeks, draft prospects will be real big on this channel. Potential free agents will be real big on this channel. Obviously, potential coaches and GMs will be very big on this channel. We'll be talking about a lot about the future. It should be some different content. It should be mixing it up and adding a little bit more excitement. Giants game is crazy. I know I'm watching the very end of it. So that should be a fun one. I don't think they have any influence on our draft stock. At this point, I don't think they can jump us at all. But, with that being the case, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you, everybody, so much for coming out to our game day finale. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to the game day stream to watch our Detroit Lions try to compete with the Minnesota Vikings. Thank you all so much for coming out. I appreciate it. A fitting ending to a disappointing season. I agree, Paul. But at least we're getting higher draft picks, I guess. Remember, Ryder, we're rooting for Texans and Eagles. Yep, I went over that a couple times now. The Detroit Lions are rooting for the Eagles, they're rooting for the Texans, and they're also rooting for the Carolina Panthers tonight. Those are the 3 teams we're rooting for, and those 3 teams, if they do lose, will get us a top 5 draft pick. So with all that being said, though, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you all so much for joining me on this game day stream. I enjoyed it. I love doing it. I'm going to obviously do my best. I think we're going to do some playoff games. We might do the national championship. We're obviously going to be doing the Super Bowl. So should be some more live streams coming. I enjoy doing them. I enjoy you guys coming out and having fun with me. So thank you all so much for coming out and watching. I will see you all with the playoff game or the national championship, whatever comes first. But with all that being said, that's all I got. Thank you all so much for coming out, and I will see you all in another stream or in tomorrow's video. See y'all later. Bye, guys.